Hey family, welcome back to my video. Today we will see, what if Naruto bent Erza in private hotel? Part 2. Before we start, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the original author of this story for granting us permission to use it in our YouTube video. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. The author's creation and the original story's link in the descriptions. Please do check that first. Now enjoy the video. Naruto landed on top of a tree. He closed his eyes and started feeling everything around him. Valendal taught him that every living thing in Earthland had magic stored inside their body, whether they are human, animals, plants, and sometimes even things that had spirits trapped in them. The only difference was their amount and presence. Each amount and presence of magic was unique to every individual, making it their identification. To do this, he had to shut down his sense of sight. The sense of sight is the sense that humans tend to rely on most of the time, and yet it was the very sense that poses the most distractions. The eye of the mind, Valendal originally taught it to him, so he could feel the forces around him, but as he progressed in the use of this sense, he started to sense not only the forces but also the magic signature of his environment. He once asked Valendal if this was ordinary, but Valendal just shook his head. No, Naruto, it isn't normal. Some mages were able to learn how to sense the strength and nature of the stored magic inside a fellow mage, and based on it, they're able to identify who it is. But to gain that ability, one must have a lot of experience, and even then only a few were able to achieve this ability. They're called sensors. But you are only here in Earthland for a little more than 3 years. Not to mention you have yet to gain experience as a mage, and yet you not only could do what those experienced mages can, but also feel the magic stability of everything around you. Those things come from talent. Talent, huh? Naruto chuckled as he remembered Valendal's words. Maybe I gained this ability from being a shinobi, especially if my theory is correct. He mumbled as he expanded the range of his sensor ability. Soon, he felt every single magic signature of the mages, plants, animals, and things around him. I could sense almost everyone's magic. Some are low maybe because of fighting, but where is Luxus? He thought as he continued searching. He then sensed someone unfamiliar and confusing. He stealthily moved towards a source. Someone in town carries several weapons with magic, but that person himself almost doesn't have any amount of magic inside his body. That person's stored magic is almost none. Even the common plants and animals had more magic than him. Very interesting. I wonder what kind of mage are you? Mist Gun Naruto thought as he saw him searching for Luxus. Good thing Master Jose once gave us an overview of the S-class mages of Fairy Tail. Yep, definitely Mist Gun, as Master Jose said. That costume and staves are one of a kind. He thought, my curiosity can wait. I need to do more pressing matters first. I could sense a magic that has the same signature as Luxus lightning, but it is on several places. No, wait, those lacrimas around town. Those were the source of the signature. TCH, he probably charged those using his own magic, but that isn't a problem. I could identify what kind is the holder of that magic. I could easily sense that those were lacrimas, but I couldn't sense where Luxus is. He thought as he concentrated more. That bastard, is he too much of a coward that he couldn't even be present inside Magnolia? Where is he? All I could sense are those lacrimas with his signature magic. He thought, but then he was suddenly alerted by a strong magic signature of Luxus. What the hell? What kind of madness is Luxus planning? That lacrima on the cathedral, it has the strength of more than 50 lacrimas that were surrounding Magnolia. Does he plan to destroy the whole town? Naruto was cut off from his thought as he picked up a magic signature near the lacrima. His eyes widened at the realization. That sicko. Don't tell me he planted that lacrima inside an innocent civilian. Naruto exclaimed with gritted teeth and unknown to him. His sword was starting to pulsate with dark energy. I'm going to make him pay for all this stupidity. I must find him to put a stop to all this. If I couldn't, then I will have to use force and make his subordinates talk. Now where's the closest one? Naruto said as he tracked the closest Reijinchu. Slash! Regulus impact! Loke exclaimed as he charged towards Bixlow. His fist connected to Bixlow's body, and he was blown away from the strength of the attack. Thank you, Loke. Lucy said. Check this out, Lucy. The light of love. Loke said as he produced a light from his palm with words, I love Lucy. You're so together. Happy teased. Aren't you celebrating a little too early? Big Slow exclaimed as several beams attacked Lucy. Loke immediately scooped her up and carried her away, but as he landed, he suddenly felt strange. Bingo! Big Slow shouted as Loke started to fade. Lucy, I'm sorry, I got careless. Escape now! Loke shouted as he faded away. What happened? Lucy asked perplexed. You just landed on a field with an enchantment set up by Fried. Big Slow answered as he pointed to some intricate runes on the walls and ground. Anything except for those who use puppets won't be able to use their magic. No magician will be able to come out unless there is only one standing. Happy read. Good thing your stellar spirits aren't puppets, or else I would have been in trouble. Now to pay you back for the earlier beating I got. Big Slow said as he took out his mask again, trying to make Lucy a puppet. But as he looked towards Lucy, a foot came crashing to his face. He stumbled back until he crashed into the invisible wall of enchantment. A figure landed next to Lucy and helped her up. Are you all right, Lucy-san? The newcomer asked. Naruto! Lucy exclaimed happily as she took the offered help. Gahaha, this is rich. Now not only I get to beat cosplay queen, I will also beat an S-class mage. Big Slow said as he faced them. Naruto, don't look into his eyes. He will turn you into a doll. Happy warned. I see, Naruto said as he closed his eyes. He unsheathed his sword, but felt no magic in it. I can't use my magic, why is that? Naruto asked. The enchantment prohibits anyone to use magic unless it has something to do with dolls. Lucy explained. So he actually prepared this field for himself. Naruto said as he suddenly took Lucy and dodged an incoming attack from Big Slow. Ho ho, you could dodge my attacks even without seeing them. This will be good. Big Slow said. How come you're still strong, even if you were struck by Loke's attack? Happy asked. Oh, it's simple. The one you were fighting earlier was nothing but a doll I made. Now it's the real deal. Big Slow answered arrogantly. Why, thank you for telling us that you are the real one. I won't have a hard time disposing you now. Naruto answered apathetically. Dispose me? How it doesn't matter if you knew I am the real one. You can't defeat me and my babies if you can't use your eyes. Big Slow retorted. Why is it that all the puppet users I encountered are all weird idiots? Naruto said, not paying attention to what Big Slow said. Naruto, how are we going to defeat him with our eyes closed? Lucy asked. Don't worry, I don't need magic or eyes just to dispose trash like him. Naruto assured. It looks like Mist Gun is taking care of the person with a lacrima inside him. Naruto thought as he felt Mist Gun presence going towards the cathedral. He stopped sensing those around him and focused on his fight. You arrogant phantom. Big Slow was cut off as Naruto's foot connected into his chin, sending him up, but as he was thrown up, he felt something grasping his wrist. He looked down and saw Naruto with his eyes still shut, grasping a fabric that was also wrapped into his wrist. Damn you! You used the sash that holds your sword sheath to make sure you don't lose me. But I won't be defeated easily. Go my babies! Big Slow exclaimed as his dolls attacked Naruto using their beams. Wrong conclusion, because I did this so I could show you how it feels to be a puppet with no will of his own for once. Naruto answered as he pulled the sash towards him, effectively making him a shield for the beam attacks. Gwa! Big Slow shouted as he took on the attacks. How does it feel to taste your own magic? Does it feel good? Don't pass out on me yet. I still want to play. Naruto taunted as he used Big Slow to swat the dolls while also using him as a shield. He's scary, Lucy said as she watched Naruto sadistically use Big Slow like a toy. She had opened her eyes earlier when she heard Big Slow exclaimed about Naruto using his sash as a way to catch him. Let's make our game more thrilling, shall we? Naruto said as he unwinds one of his hand bandages and quickly used it to cover Big Slow's eyes. Now, isn't this more thrilling? You won't know where I will hit you next. I could hit you to the wall, to the ground, to your dolls. I might punch or kick you, or maybe I could just carve additional holes into your body. I wonder what will be good, Naruto said sadistically. Like you could do. Big Slow's words were cut off as Naruto spun him around like a merry-go-round and then rammed him into a wall. Puppets don't talk unless their puppeteer make them. If you disobey your owner, he will punish you, and if the owner gets annoyed or bored, he will dispose of you, mangled. Naruto warned. Big Slow was falling into unconsciousness from being rammed to a wall, and then he went limp. Good. Now be a good puppet and tell me how to stop the Hall of Thunder. Naruto commanded. Big Slow didn't move, and his body is still in a limp. What? You malfunctioned just because of a simple bump? Come on, work. You useless puppet, or I will dispose of you. Naruto exclaimed as he trashed Big Slow around. Naruto, I think that's going a little too far. You might kill him. Lucy shouted. Naruto looked at Lucy, and she stammered when she saw Naruto's eyes. They were emotionless like a cold-blooded killer. She started to tremble, and she wanted to scream in fear, but no words came out of her mouth because of too much fear. Happy was in no better condition as he was in the same state. Naruto suddenly appeared behind Lucy and struck her with a hand chop on the back of her neck. He caught her as she fell towards the floor. The barrier suddenly deactivated as only Naruto remains capable of combat. Happy, bring her back to the guild and tell the master that there is a lacrima in the cathedral that is more than 50 times stronger than those around town. Gather everyone and evacuate the town. I'll take care of Luxus and the Rei Jinshu. Do it now, Naruto commanded. Aye. Happy answered as he rushed towards Lucy to do his chore in fear of Naruto's anger be directed at him and the prospect of a lacrima that's strong inside the heart of Magnolia. When Happy was out of sight, Naruto goes back to his interrogation with Big Slow. He noticed that Big Slow was still unconscious, and he started to walk around dragging him, using his sash that was tied to Big Slow's wrist. He stopped at a market stand and saw what he was looking for. He took a pack and left money since the owner of the stand was nowhere in sight. He then disappeared in a blur together with Big Slow. Fried! Kana shouted as she attacked Fried. Let's see how you could stand up against me, Kana. It would have been better if you just let the Phantom Girl fight me instead. Fried taunted as he dodged Kana's magic cards. Stop calling Juvia that. She doesn't deserve that kind of treatment, especially from someone like you who had no care for his own nakamas. Juvia sacrificed herself instead of hurting a nakama. She deserves the title of a fairy mage more than you Rei Jinshuists do, she said as she charged at him. Oh really? Have you forgotten what she and Naruto have done to the guild under Jose? Or should I remind you? Fried answered as he kicked Kana away from him. They had no choice. Like us, they wanted to protect their own nakamas even if it was on a twisted way. And if only the Rei Jinshu tried to pay more attention to the guild rather than the fame of Luxus, you would have seen how much they give their best to be accepted. You are the ones who are undeserving of the title Fairy Mage. Kana shouted. While Fried and Kana were fighting, or more like Kana attacking while Fried effortlessly beat her, Juvia was deep in thought as she heard their conversations. Zenitama, Juvia has now been accepted by many people. Juvia doesn't only have a Naruto and II now, but also a family. Juvia is happy. She wants to help her nakamas too. Right now, Kana-san is fighting for her. Juvia must also strive to protect her nakamas. Give Juvia strength, give her more power. Juvia wants to fight. Juvia wants to win. Juvia wants to protect her family. Juvia thought as she felt something cold dropped into her face. Her face suddenly lit up in happiness as she saw dark clouds forming on the sky. Thank you, Zenitama. Juvia will not fail. She thought as she directed the falling raindrops towards her mouth. Oh look, it's raining. The sky is blessing us, the Rei Jinshu. When there is rain, there is lightning. Victory is almost at hand, Fried exclaimed as he backhanded Kana away from him. Kana struggled to get up as her whole body ached from the beating she got from Fried. Don't be too sure, bastards, Kana said with staggered breaths. Did you say something, Kana? He said as he kicked her, sending her towards a wall. Her body gave out, and she couldn't stand up any longer. Do you understand now, Kana? This rain is a victory shower for the Rei Jinshu. Fried exclaimed, but then the rain suddenly stopped. No, actually the rain was for Juvia. Water cane, someone stated as a torrent of water hit him, pushing him away from Kana. So, you could recuperate when there is rain, huh? No matter, I will still win. Fried said as he readied himself for a serious battle. Naruto appeared on top of a clock tower, and then unceremoniously dropped Bixlow to one of the railings. He took out a kunai, and then he pulled Bixlow's hand up, and then he pinned it to the wall using one of his arms. Bixlow suddenly howled at the sudden stabbing pain he felt from the kunai. His body trembled from the pain. Naruto released the cover of his eyes, but his sight was blocked by a pack. Naruto saw his horror and smirked. "So, you know what happens if you don't cooperate, right?" he said as he also took out another kunai. Only 2 words came out of Bixlow's mouth. "You demon." "Not the words I wanted to hear," Naruto said as he twirled the kunai on his fingers and then kicked Bixlow's free hand so it would be raised and then stabbed the kunai on that hand. Bixlow howled in pain again, and as he looked up towards Naruto's eyes were covered by his hair, and he wears an evil, sadistic smile. With both of Bixlow's hand pinned to the wall, Naruto opened the pack and took an ample amount of its content in his hands. "Now tell me, how do we stop this Hall of Thunder? One wrong answer, and your wounds will taste like salt," Naruto said as he placed his closed fist carrying salt on top of one of Bixlow's stabbed hands. "Gerard, you're alive," Erza said as she looked at Mist Gun's face. "Oh, a familiar face?" Luxus asked. "What's going on?" "Mist Gun is Gerard," Natsu exclaimed. "Erza, I wanted you at least not to see this face. I'm not Gerard. I know him, but I am not him," Mist Gun said as he looked at Erza apologetically. "I'm sorry. I'll leave the rest to you," Mist Gun said as he vanished into mist while Natsu ranted about him, going without answering any questions. Suddenly, he heard Erza screamed in pain as a lightning struck her. "Wipe that dumb look off your face already. Now come on and bring it on," Luxus said. "Luxus, I thought I told you that I will be your opponent," Natsu exclaimed. "Oh, Natsu, you are there? I didn't notice you," Luxus taunted. "You're gonna fight me, Luxus?" Natsu exclaimed as he charged towards Luxus with a flaming fist. "You know, I'm getting sick of those head-on charges of yours. Out of my face, trash," Luxus shouted as he blasted a lightning towards Natsu. Natsu saw it coming and dodged by jumping up, and then he flipped vertically on the air to deliver a kick towards Luxus. "Fire Dragon's Claw," Natsu exclaimed as his feet was engulfed with flames. Luxus, however, just swatted his foot using his right arm engulfed with electricity. Natsu was thrown a little from Luxus, but as he landed on the ground, Luxus appeared in front of him and delivered a lightning-enhanced kick. The kick connected at Natsu's face. "You're not getting away," Luxus said as he grabbed Natsu's wrist, so he won't be thrown away by the kick. He then arched his arm back to punch Natsu, but as his fist was about to connect to Natsu's face, "Who's running when this is my chance to seize the top?" Natsu said as he caught Luxus' fist and then delivered a flaming punch that connected to Luxus' face. As Natsu and Luxus fought, Erza started to stand up and used X, quipped to change her armor to Blackwing. She then charged towards Luxus and attacked just as Natsu was thrown away by an attack of Luxus. "Just what are those things floating around town?" Erza asked. "The Hall of Thunder. Have you not heard of it?" Luxus answered. "You're going to attack the town? You swine!" Erza exclaimed as she attacked Luxus. "Only 2 minutes to go," Luxus said as he stopped her attack. "Ice Make, Geyser!" someone exclaimed as several ice spike came out from the ground where Luxus was standing. Luxus dodged in time to prevent himself from being stabbed and frozen. "So, you want to challenge me to Gray?" Luxus asked as he looked at him. "Challenge? Are you kidding me? I did not come here for some fight to determine who is strongest, but to stop your madness. I don't care how strong you are, or if you are the next in line as master, but I won't just stand by when I know that innocent people are in trouble." Gray answered as he prepared to conjure another ice magic. "Erza, go and save the town, Natsu, and I will take care of this," he said. "But this is Luxus," Erza exclaimed. "Gray is right. As much as I don't want to have a tag team with Gray, you have a much more chance of saving the town than both of us. Leave Luxus to us. The town comes first," Natsu said as he staggered to get up. Erza hesitated. "Someone told me that I have known you for a long time, that I should put my trust on you, and I did. Now, trust us too. You know we won't lose that easily. Now go," Natsu exclaimed, to which Gray nods. Erza's eyes hardened, and she said, I can leave this to both of you, right? She asked. They nod. Very well. Lightning Emperor armor, she exclaimed. Hey, Natsu shouted. I'll destroy those lacrimas around town. She said, haha, just a single lacrima could already cost you your life. I have 300 surrounding the town. I wonder how you could do that. Luke Seuss exclaimed. I'll just have to destroy them all at once then. She answered. Impossible even if you do that. You will die. Luke Seuss shouted. But the town will be saved. She answered as she ran outside. Make sure you stop, Luke Seuss. Natsu Gray, she exclaimed. We can trust you too, right? Gray asked. She nods. We mean that you will come out of it alive. Natsu shouted. Erza just smiled and continued to her mission. Damn it, Luke Seuss said as he was about to run after her. Flame dragons roar. Ice make wall. He heard as Natsu breathed raging flames towards him, and Gray made an ice wall to block the cathedral's door. He dodged in time, and when the smoke and debris were cleared, he saw Gray and Natsu standing in front of him full of determination. Sorry, but we are your opponent, Gray stated as he jumped high and then said, Ice make, death scythe. A large scythe made of ice materialized in his hands as he descended towards Luke Seuss. He swung down the scythe intending to impale Luke Seuss, who immediately jumped away from where he was standing, but as Gray landed he placed his hand on the ground. Ice make floor. The floor started to be covered in ice. As Luke Seuss landed on the floor, his feet and ankles were engulfed by the ice, deterring his mobility. Eat this. Fire Dragon's crushing fangs, Natsu exclaimed as he furiously swiped at Luke Seuss with both his flaming hands. Luke Seuss had to use his lightning magic to teleport away and dodge Natsu's attack. You little brats, he shouted. Ah! A female civilian screamed as she saw something on top of the clock tower. Levy, Visca, and Happy, who was going around town to help evacuate everyone, including their injured guildmates, heard the scream. They ran towards the source and asked, What's the matter? Visca asked, but the civilian didn't answer and just pointed a finger towards the clock tower. All of them looked up and mentally cringed at the sight. It wasn't very horrifying for an experienced mage, but for a civilian it was. Up on the clock tower, Big Slow was pinned to the wall by his hands. Visca-chan, you go and warn the others about the Hall of Thunder and the lacrima on the cathedral. I will try and help Big Slow. Levy said, Will you be okay? I mean, Big Slow may attack you. And should we really help him? Visca asked. Yes, he is still part of our guild. We can't just turn a blind eye on him. Happy, take me there, she said as Happy nodded and took her towards Big Slow. Be careful, Levy. But damn, that Naruto wasn't really lying when he said those things. He's really one sadistic and scary person when he wants to be. Visca thought as she continued with her mission. As Levy and Happy landed next to a pinned Big Slow, she immediately ran towards him and tried to pry out the kunai. Damn it, Naruto. Why do you have to be so strong? She exclaimed as she hopelessly tried to take the kunai out. The knife is deeply embedded to the wall. How do we take it out? Happy said as he took a closer look. And not only that, if we do it wrong, his wound would bleed profusely. Levy sighed. But how come Big Slow isn't bleeding too much? Happy asked. Now that you say that, Levy said as she inspected his wounds. She then saw small grains mixed with the dry blood. She looked closely and then heard Happy said, Levy-san, look what I found. Happy said as he pointed to a pack discarded on the side. Levy walked towards it and crouched to take a better look. The pack had no name in it, so she took some grains and smelled it. Her eyes widened and she tasted it. Salt. Salt? Why would there be salt here? Happy asked. Levy immediately dashed towards Big Slow and looked closely at the wounds to verify. She saw some grains on Big Slow's dress. No. Naruto tortured Big Slow, Levy said in horror. Torture? Happy asked. Salt stings like hell when is applied even to just minor wounds. Imagine how it felt if it were applied to wounds like this. So that explains why the bleeding stopped. The salt mixed with the blood, making a solution that thickens the area of the wound, thus stopping the bleeding. Levy said, I stopped understanding after salt stings like hell. Happy said, which earned him a glare from Levy. Happy said in fear of her wrath. We need to get him some help. What he got may not just be physical injury, but also mental trauma. She said as she pulled hard on the kunai, but it wouldn't budge. Her hands slipped, and the momentum flung her backwards. She was flung over the edge of the clock tower and was about to fall when Happy caught her. Be careful, Levy-san. Naruto would be on a rampage if something bad happens to you. Happy exclaimed. Dovish, what are you saying? Levy exclaimed at Happy. Oh, nothing. I just heard something from the rain. Happy said while whistling. I'll let you slide for now, but after this, you'll answer some questions. Got it? Levy said seriously. Happy answered as they heard someone shouting from the ground. Levy-san, Happy-san. Happy and Levy looked down and saw a dark-haired beauty. Wendy-san, Happy exclaimed as he flew towards her. Makarov-san sent me to help healing the injured. He said that it would be better if a healer is with you in case of an emergency. She replied, So only Lucy is with Master? Happy asked. Nope. A lady by the name of Polyushka came to check up on him. She said that we shouldn't worry since he had calmed down now and that the Reijinchu won't have the courage to attack him directly. Wendy answered, Happy, bring Wendy here. We need her. Levy shouted, Your sensei's girlfriend needs us. Let's go. Happy said as he carried Wendy. They landed next to Levy and Wendy cringed at the sight. Sorry that you had to see this, but Levy started. It's all right. We must get those knives out of him first so I could properly heal him. Wendy replied as she tried to take out the knives. It's no use. Naruto really embedded those knives deep. Happy said, No, there is always a way. Sensei taught me that as long as we don't surrender, there is always a way. Right? Sensei's girlfriend. Wendy replied, looking at Levy. What gave you that idea? Levy asked, flustered. He did. Wendy said innocently while pointing at Happy. Levy gave Happy a glare that promises slow and painful death once she caught him when all this madness finished. Arms! Wendy exclaimed as Levy felt her body engulfed in light and get stronger. She looked toward Wendy and she also had light around her. My magic can multiply a person's strength. If we combine our strength multiplied by my magic, we can do it, Wendy said with determination. I guess so. Happy, be ready to catch us if ever we fall. Got it? Or else, be ready to be served as food for the next festival when Naruto discovers that you let Wendy fall off. Levy said evilly. Happy said. Naruto already had rubbed himself too much on these two. Happy thought. Fried hissed as he nursed his arm that was caught to one of Juvia's water cane. He cut the sleeves of his shirt and saw his arm red with burns. You are thoroughly mistaken if you think Juvia's water is nothing more than normal water. Juvia informed. Amazing. Not only she could control water, but also its temperature. Kana said in awe. You are lucky that killing is prohibited and you are still part of Fairy Tail, or else Juvia would have boiled you alive. She said as she transformed into water and then rushed towards Fried. Fried dodged and led her to an enchantment to trap Juvia inside, and he succeeded. None is allowed to come out until the game is over. Fried said. Earlier Juvia would have a problem with these enchantments, but now since water is abundant due to rain, this is nothing, she said as she suddenly turned into water and splashed at the ground. So, your whole body is really composed of water, but still it is of no difference since none can go out of that enchantment even if they were water. My enchantment goes even under the ground, so don't think you can escape by seeping on it. Fried said as he looked as the pool of water that was Juvia. He didn't notice a small pool of water starting to form behind him. Suddenly, he was engulfed by a large water prison. How did she escape? My enchantments are absolute. He thought as he held his breath and tried to swim out of it, but as he moved towards one side, the water prison also moves towards it, making him perfectly still at its center. Then he heard Juvia's voice. This water is no normal water. Juvia is the water. The water is Juvia. Juvia said as a figure of Juvia formed inside the prison and then came charging at him at high speed. The figure slammed towards his gut, and with the force of momentum, the air inside his lungs was knocked out of him. I suggest you give up. You don't stand a chance when you are caught here, she warned. Fried did not respond, opting to concentrate so he won't lose consciousness. He then took out something from his pocket. If she's going to defeat me, might as well take her down with me. And I still have that. He thought as he now held a small lacrima in his hand. The water Jivia saw the lacrima and saw that inside the lacrima there was stored electric energy. Those lacrimas are like those around town. Don't release it here. Are you going to sacrifice yourself? Don't be foolish, Jivia shouted. I don't care what happens to me, but I won't fail. I'll take you out with me. Fried thought as he smirked and released the magic inside the lacrima. Art! Fried shouted in pain as the electricity was released, electrocuting him and the water Juvia. The water prison broke and water splashed to the ground together with Fried. He lied on the ground as he felt his body spasm slightly. The enchantments around town were momentarily disabled because of his predicament, but he immediately turned it back as soon as the electrocution stopped. I'm lucky that Phantom Girl isn't as crazy as me. She immediately released the prison as soon as I released the electricity. He thought as he looked around trying to find the girl. Where is she? He said as he painfully stood up. He couldn't find Jivia anywhere. I am right here, Jivia said as the water that was trapped inside the enchantment slowly formed into Jivia. She stood there unharmed. How was all Fried could say. That is none of your business. Water whip, Jivia said as she whips him strong enough to knock him down. Jivia looked at him, and he was unconscious. Probably still hasn't recovered from the earlier electrocution. Jivia said as she helped Kana up. I saw your water body got electrocuted together with Fried. Why aren't you hurt? Kana asked. Jivia wasn't really able to get out of his enchantment. Jivia just turned her body into water to make him think that she was really able to get out and confuse him. Jivia answered. But what about the prison? How? Kana asked confused. When Jivia comes in contact with water, she can infuse a little amount of her magic into it, making her able to control it to her will. Earlier, when it rained, Jivia had already infused some magic to the raindrops that came in contact with Jivia. She answered, Why are you telling me this? Kana asked lastly. Because you're a Nakama. She answered. Huh, so that's it. That's how you were not harmed. Fried said as he stood up. Impossible, you should have been still knocked out. Kana said. Fried then ripped the hole of his sleeve to show several intricate enchantment placed on his shoulder. I have already prepared this beforehand. I know that one day I had to fight a mage with elemental magic. So, I designed an enchantment that would lessen or nullify the effect of elemental magics like burn from fire, cold from ice, electrocution from lightning, poison and temperature from water and wind. Fried stated. So, you were only acting earlier when you got burned from Jivia's attacks, but that doesn't mean you could defeat Jivia easily. And from the looks of it, the enchantment weren't able to fully protect you. Jivia said as she readied to fight. Fried suddenly closed his right eye and then opened it to reveal that it had turned black. He charged, and then when he was almost at them, he said, Yami no ekriture. He said those words while waving his sword into a writing manner. The word pain appeared on Jivia's neck. Jivia doesn't like tattoos. Water spikes, she said as the water scattered around Fried suddenly rose up at high speed and pressure forming like spikes protruding from the ground intending to impale him. He dodged and landed next to Kana, making Jivia stop from her attacks. Coward, hiding behind a girl just so you could escape? Geyser, Jivia said as suddenly a strong rush of water erupted from the ground behind Fried. Gah! Fried shouted as he felt hot burns at his back. He jumps away from Kana and the attack. Impossible. I shouldn't be hurt from just boiling water. My enchantments couldn't be malfunctioning, he said as he ripped out of what was left from his clothes. He looked at it and his eyes widened. Acid? He asked as he saw the metal sheath of his sword was partially dissolved. Jivia didn't answer and was about to attack when he exclaimed. Pain, he said. Jivia suddenly fell on her knees, writhing in pain. What is happening? Jivia said as she fell to the ground in agony. My magic is Yami no ekriture. It has the ability to make you feel whatever I wrote on your body, he stated. Fried, you bastard, Kana said as she prepared to fight, but was kicked away by Fried. I suggest you stop playing hero, Kana. You don't stand a chance against me. I'm telling you this out of respect, but if you insist, you will suffer the same fate, he warned. NGHH. So this is your real magic. Juvia will not be defeated, Juvia painfully said as she suddenly turned into water. TCH. I forgot you could erase that enchantment from your body by turning into water. What the? Fried was cut off as the water that was Juvia suddenly produced so much steam that it surrounded him. A technique Naruto and I taught me, was what Fried and Kana heard. You think this steam will be able to help you win against me? Fried said. Let's try it then? Juvia said as Fried suddenly winced as he felt something whip him from behind. I must be careful. This mist is made from her own water. She could easily manipulate it. He thought as he wrote some enchantments on the ground. Yami no Ekriture, barrier. A barrier was formed around him, like an inverted cone. Now I can stall myself sometime to make a plan. His musings was cut off as he felt a burning sensation on his arms. He looks at it and saw that the mist was starting to become droplets of water inside his barrier. He immediately dispelled the barrier and escaped. Damn that phantom girl. She condensed the mist and turned them to acidic droplets of water inside my barrier. But why didn't she just did it for the whole area? He was again cut off as a strong torrent of water came from above him. He wasn't able to dodge in time, and it hit him, prompting him to hit the ground. He felt the pressure of water pinning him to the ground as he lay there helplessly. I can't move. The pressure of this water is too strong. It feels like a big boulder is crushing me down. He thought as the pressure of the raging water pins him down. So much pressure. I can't breathe if this continues. I'll lose air in my lungs and fall unconscious. I can't lose. He thought as he saw a silhouette of someone from the fading mist. All right, Kana, I almost forgot about her. So that's why she didn't turn the whole mist into acid, because Kana was also caught in the mist. I didn't want to do this, but I guess I have no choice. I must not lose. He thought as he shouted. Suffer. Gah! Kana shouted suddenly. Kana-san? Juvia exclaimed as she looked at Kana. She saw her and saw that she had an enchantment written on her back. When? Juvia asked, and then she remembered the time Fried appeared behind Kana to dodge her attacks. Stop it, Juvia ordered Fried. Why would I? Fried said while gasping for air. Or Juvia kills you to make it stop. Juvia said. Like you would? Gah! Fried exclaimed as he felt the pressure of water strengthens. Juvia doesn't give empty threats. She stated. Juvia, don't kill him. Kana begged as she heard their conversation. But, please Juvia, there's no need for you to stain your hands with his blood. He isn't worth your freedom, Kana said through labored breaths. Release her, Juvia exclaimed. I won't stop until I win instead. Suffer, Fried exclaimed, which threw Kana again in agony. Juvia will kill you, Juvia said as she was about to turn her water into acid. Juvia, don't. Naruto would be lonely. If you were imprisoned, Minnie would be lonely. I won't be able to forgive myself, Kana said in between her agony. Kana-san, Juvia said as she stopped her attack from Fried. She appeared kneeling next to Kana as the mist also subsided. You win? Juvia surrenders. Now please release Kana-san. Juvia begged. Fried staggered towards them as he tried his best to regain his breath. He stood next to them and then said, Yami no Ekriture, sealed magic. He said as he wrote those words to Juvia's back. Juvia suddenly couldn't feel any magic from her body. She lost control of the water. What happened? Juvia asked. I sealed your magic. Now, you can't use your pesky magic, he said as he kicked Juvia away from Kana. He then threw a small dagger next to her. What? Juvia asked, perplexed. Use that dagger and throw it on one of the lacrimas, he said. Fried, you bastard, Kana said. Do it, or I shall make her more miserable, Fried told Juvia as he pointed his rapier towards Kana. You fight dirty. Juvia should have let you electrocute to death, but she thought that you could still be saved. Juvia was wrong. A person who'd gladly hurt a nakama just to get what he wants does not deserve pity. Juvia said, I don't care what you say, Phantom Girl. Do it if you value her so much, Fried ordered. Juvia gripped the dagger on her hand and looked at Fried dangerously. Juvia knows that you couldn't use your magic yet nor defeat her, Juvia stated. Oh, and how did you get that conclusion? Fried said. Because of your pride. You probably want to finish Juvia off by yourself. and if she attacks one of those lacrimas, it might jeopardize your plans. So you ordering Jivia to do this means that you are desperate to dispose of her without doing anything, since you know you couldn't beat her even if Jivia had no magic. Jivia replied, "Define are we? I'm sure you're a decent fighter as well since you are always with Naruto, and yes, I couldn't use Yami no Ekriture, yet since I need to conserve my energy to keep the current enchantments up, but I have the advantage here, because Kana has already been marked by my enchantment. So what would you do now, Phantom Girl?" Fried said, "Jivia, forget about me. Defeat him." Kana exclaimed, but she was cut off as Fried shouted, "Suffer." Kana writhed in pain again. "Stop it. Jivia will do it. Just stop it." Jivia shouted. "No. Jivia, don't." Kana said through pain breaths. Jivia could probably defeat him in less than a minute, but in that minute, he only needs less than a second to say that word. In a minute, he would make Kana suffer for more than 60 times. Jivia felt the strength of that enchantment. She knew how much mental trauma could cause someone. Jivia won't be able to face anyone on the guild, especially Naruto and II, if she let a Nakama fall. Fried-san, if you still have a little amount of spirit of fairy tale in you, promise Jivia that you won't hurt Kana-san anymore after Jivia complied. Jivia said seriously, "As long as she does not attack me, then I won't hurt her anymore." Fried answered, "Jivia will hold you onto that promise. Kana-san, please get yourself some help." Jivia said as she flung the dagger towards the lacrima. The lacrima immediately reacted, but the force of Jivia's throw overcame the lightning shot by the lacrima. The lacrima was destroyed, but a lightning was already on Jivia's way when the dagger hit the lacrima. "Ah!" Jivia shouted as she was hit by a lightning for the second time today. After the electrocution stopped, Jivia lay there on the ground on the brink of unconsciousness. She looked at Kana, who was screaming probably her name, but she couldn't understand. "I did what was right, didn't I, Naruto and II? Sorry, everyone. Jivia couldn't lessen the foes that we need to defeat," was the last thought she had before succumbing to the darkness. "Jivia," Kana said as she readied her magic cards. "I suggest you stop, Kana. I may have promised Phantom Girl that I won't hurt you, but that is only if you don't attack me. If I were you, I'd take her advice and get some help." Fried said, "Take it back." Kana said, "You said something, Kana?" Fried asked. "I said take it back." "Take back what you said. That Jivia is a Phantom Girl," she shouted as she was about to throw her cards. "You leave me no choice. You threw away Phantom Girl's sacrifice." Fried said solemnly, "Suffer, suffer, suffer," he exclaimed as Kana felt pain triple of what she had felt before. "I can buy myself enough time to recover just by saying those words and let you writhe in pain. You'll be my hostage for a while," Fried said as he sat on a rock. "Oi, Natsu, you still have enough strength left?" Gray asked. "Yeah," Natsu said, but he is noticeably huffing for air. "Luke Seuss is really one hell of a monster, but I won't lose to him." He continued, "Stupid, we already knew that from the beginning. Listen, I have a plan. I'll do my best to distract him and catch him. When an opening is made, pour in all you got for a knockout attack." "Deal?" Gray asked. "What? I won't let you outdo me," Natsu exclaimed. "Idiot, don't let him know of our plan, and save your energy for the attack. This isn't about us competing anymore. This is about defeating Luke Seuss and saving the town. Watch our fight closely and try to observe for any opening every time he tries to dodge my attacks, especially when he transforms into lightning." Gray scolded. Natsu was about to retort, but Gray Fierce look quieted him. "Fine, but if I see him starting to defeat you, I'll join in the fray," he answered. "Fair enough," Gray said. "Ice make, dual Kuzurigama," Gray exclaimed as two double-bladed sickles made of ice appeared. The two sickles were connected by a chain made of ice. Imagine Kazushini made of ice. An interesting weapon there, Gray. But I wonder if a loser like you could control an odd-looking weapon like that? Luke Seuss taunted. "Don't worry, you're about to find out," Gray said as he charged towards Luke Seuss, who just smirked arrogantly. Luke Seuss sent several lightning running towards Gray. Gray was able to dodge them by jumping left and right while moving forward. "He's underestimating me. Those are really slow attacks. I'll use this to my advantage." Master UR said that people had a tendency to go left or right. Let's see where his tendency is. Gray thought. When he was at arm's reach, Gray swung one of his sickles in a beheading motion, but Luke Seuss bowed his head to avoid being beheaded. His eyes widened, though, as he saw another sickle coming to his face as Gray swung the other sickle on a vertical motion. Luke Seuss had only one choice, but to turn into lightning to dodge, as he is in a bad position to either attack or counterattack. He transformed into lightning and dodged to the right. To the right? No, one time is not enough. He thought as he again charged towards Luke Seuss, but this time Luke Seuss jumped back before Gray could reach him. Luke Seuss smirked as he thought that he was safe, but was surprised to see a spinning blade made of ice was coming towards him at high speed. He jumped back again, but the blade kept on its path, and then suddenly Luke Seuss felt his back hit the wall. He immediately sidestepped to the right as he saw the spinning blade stop its forwards movement and then was retracted by Gray. Luke Seuss smirked and said, "Well, I got to admit that you are quite adequate at the use of that weapon and that you have a talent in magic and combat. Say why you don't just join me and leave these losers." Luke Seuss' speech was interrupted as he had to jump away to the right because the blade was hurled to him again. "I guess that's a no. Too bad. You'll stay as a loser. You know, I already figured out the limitations of your weapon," he said as he jumped up into the air to avoid the spinning sickle. When he thought that he was on the right distance, he smirked and sent a fast ball of lightning towards Gray. Gray narrowly avoided the ball as he jumped back, but was still struck by some debris produced by the ball colliding to the floor. Luke Seuss smirked in triumph, but it was immediately erased as he had to immediately turn his body in midair as the sickle swooshed past him, grazing his side in the rib area. He looked at it and saw his cape and shirt got sliced. He felt his rib area for any damages, but felt no problem other than a numbing coldness. "His ice is really cold. It just grazed my clothes, and yet my side feels numb from his weapon's extreme temperature." His thought was interrupted as he felt something coming from behind. He looked back and saw the sickle spinning back to him. He dodged by using his lightning to teleport away. He looked at Gray, who was standing next to Natsu. He had several bruises from the debris that struck him, but otherwise okay. All his dodges were going right. "I hope you're observing good," Gray whispered to Natsu, who was concentrating and readying himself. "I forgot. Your weapon's chain is made of ice, so you could lengthen it and control it by tugging on the chains, but still it is not enough to catch me when I already know how fast it is. What is the matter with you, Natsu? Why aren't you joining?" "Scared," Luke Seuss said as he charged towards them. "Lightning bolts!" Luke Seuss exclaimed as two fast lightning came from above, poking holes to the roof as it struck both Natsu and Gray. When he was next to them and was about to deliver a punch, he immediately jumped away as both of his targets suddenly exploded into several blades of ice. He searched around for them, but couldn't find them. "Where are you brats now?" he said. Gray threw both his sickles towards the unsuspecting Luke Seuss and then said, "Ice make lance." Several lances shoots towards Luke Seuss together with the spinning sickles. Luke Seuss narrowly dodged both sickles. He then focused on dodging the lances heading towards him. His eyes widened, though, as he felt the two sickles struck him on both shoulders. "How?" he said in surprise as he saw the one sickle struck him in each shoulder, but he wasn't bleeding, but instead he felt numbing cold. The moment of surprise gave the lances enough time to hit him on several places. He felt numbing coldness throughout his body as he transformed into lightning to move away from the barrage. When he landed, though, he felt his feet got stuck on the ground. He looked down and saw the small area where he is standing was encased in ice. He looked back and saw Gray behind him. He then looked at the Gray, who threw the sickles, and it exploded into many blades of ice again, just like the earlier ice clones. "Brats!" he exclaimed as he used his lightning teleportation again, but this time Gray noticed that he needed more time to use it than earlier. "Just as I thought, that magic eats a lot of stamina. This is our chance," he thought as he saw Luke Seuss land on the exact spot they have prepared. As Luke Seuss appeared on the spot, he felt a strong presence of magic behind him and saw Natsu about to unleash a barrage of attack on him. "Flame Lotus! Fire Dragon Fist!" Natsu exclaimed as his fists light up in fire. Luke Seuss was about to dodge away, but Gray did something. "Release!" Suddenly, all of the ice made by Gray was gone, and Luke Seuss felt so much pain as blood suddenly gushed out of his body. "Gah!" Luxus exclaimed as he felt immense pain from all the wounds that magically appear on his body. This gave way to Natsu as he unleashed a barrage of punches with fiery explosion, causing destruction not only to Luxus but to the cathedral. While Natsu attacks, Luxus was able to get his bearings back to kick Natsu away before he could give the finishing blow. Luxus stood away from the two as he staggered to stand up from the beating and wounds he got. "How were you able to control my blood?" Luxus said. "Easy. I didn't," Gray said as the dual Kuzurigama again appeared on his hands. Luxus looked at it and then remembered that he was hit by not only those but also the lances but didn't bleed. He only felt numbing coldness. His eyes widened as he put the pieces together. "You froze the blood that was about to burst out from the wounds you originally gave me, so that I wouldn't notice that I already sustained damage, and then release all your ice, so that it would also release the ice covering my wounds, so I would suddenly feel all the wounds to give Natsu enough time for a knockout punch. Very clever strategy, but you failed at the last moment, and probably the only chance you got," Luxus said with a laugh. "You're right, because all you think about is the numbing coldness you didn't notice the wound. I also made sure that the wounds are shut close, so you won't notice it at first look unless you looked at it carefully, but knowing your arrogant nature, you won't do that." Gray said. "Why are you laughing? I will beat you on the next attack," Natsu said as he lit up his hands again. Natsu, do you really think I would go down that easily? As I have said before, that was the last chance you got," he said as he ripped away the remaining of his shirt and coat, and then summoned multiple lightning. Lightning struck from above the destroyed cathedral ceiling, but instead of attacking Natsu and Gray, the lightning goes directly towards Luxus. Their eyes widened in shock as they saw him eat the lightning while gaining some scale-like pattern on his skin, and all the damages of his body started to heal. Luxus smirked at their shocked face and then prepared for an attack. "Lightning Dragon's Roar!" he exclaimed as Natsu and Gray scrambled to dodge the incoming attack. "Luxus is a dragon slayer too," was all Gray could say. Naruto was jumping over the roofs of the houses in Magnolia when he felt something heating up on his clothes. "Great timing," he said as he took out a small lacrima. He saw it glowing, so he poured in some of his magic into it. Soon the glowing stopped, and a projection of a black-haired mage came into view. "Enjoying the Magnolia Festival?" the mage asked. "Not really. Something crazy happened. Why'd you contact me anyway? Thought you said that you were busy with something," Naruto replied. "Have you met the fairy tale mage named Luxus?" "Yeah, 100% trash. He's the source of the turmoil now on the town. That bastard would gladly hurt his own friends and innocent people just to get what he wants." "Speaking of him, do you know anything about lacrima being placed inside a human?" Naruto asked. "Yeah, and that is the reason that I asked you about him. It seems he is a product of that experiment. The one that conducted the experiment was his own father, Ivan. Raventail is now starting to mobilize their plan, and one of their plan is to retake the lacrima inside Luxus," was the reply. "So he'd gladly kill off his son just for his plans, huh? Figures to whom Luxus got his personality. Any information on how strong Luxus is? His current level, I don't know, but they said that the potential of those with lacrimas in their body could be or higher than of a dragon slayer," was the answer he got. Considering he was supposed to be next in line as fairy tale master, he probably achieved that potential. "Too bad I wouldn't see your ass get handed to you. Naruto, you do know that Raventail must not get him, right? If Ivan got hold of that strong a weapon, it would cause a big problem," the mage stated. "I know, maybe killing him isn't a bad idea after all. Yeah, and spend the rest of your life either in prison or on the run. Not a bad idea indeed," was the sarcastic reply he got, but Naruto just stayed silent. "Tisei, so you weren't kidding. Keep your anger in check, lest you want that sword to eat your soul. Either way, it's not my problem anyway," the mage said before fading away and glowing of the lacrima stopped. Naruto stayed silent as he trudged his way towards the cathedral. He heard a loud crash and looked towards the direction. He saw Kana trying to stand up while saying, "I said take it back. Take back what you said that Juvia is a phantom girl." Behind Kana were the startled sibling, Mira and Elfman, while on the other side was Fried, who looked like he could use a change of clothes, but otherwise looking fine. A bastard like you, who would gladly take your own Nakama as hostage just to beat her. She deserves the title Fairy Mage more than any of the Reijinshu. Naruto heard Kana say. He looked for Juvia and saw her lying on the ground, unconscious. He immediately go to her fearing for the worst. When he was next to her, he checked for vital signs and calmed a little as he felt a pulse. He saw the magic sealing enchantment on her. He looked around and saw a ruined dagger and a destroyed lacrima. He instantly put the pieces together. He kneeled down next to her and then scooped her up in his arms. Fried was about to place another enchantment on Elfman when he felt dreadful, as if someone is out for his blood. He looked at his enemies and saw fear in their eyes. He looked behind and silence reigned. He will always remember this day, the day he came face to what looked like death incarnate. There a few yards in front of them was someone walking towards them, his eyes different from each other. Right eye was white with cerulean blue iris, while the other was blood red with black iris and had silver slit pupil. They also noticed dark markings creeping upward from the left side of his face. What is this dreadful feeling? As if death is about to take me. What the hell are you, Naruto? Fried thought. Naruto was walking slowly, as if not worrying if you run away or not. His eyes told him only one thing. Death to the person who hurt the lady currently lying unconscious in his arms. He stopped in front of them and said in a voice that sends shivers towards their spine. Run and pray, for only death awaits you when I catch you. Yami no Ekriture, darkness. He said as he wrote the enchantment on himself. He then suddenly transformed into a monster of darkness. I won't be defeated. Natsu has already defeated you. I can defeat you easily. I don't give a shit about your charade, Fried exclaimed. Big words from someone who can't even beat Juvia. Naruto said as he gently placed Juvia down. Suddenly, Fried was backhanded and was sent flying towards a wall. How? Was all Fried could utter as he staggered to stand up. One moment Naruto was placing Juvia down, then in a blink of an eye he was already backhanded to a wall. Before he could properly stand up, he was sent sailing again by a roundhouse kick to the gut. Fried's eyes widened as he suddenly saw Naruto waiting for him at his flight's destination. When he was about to crash at him, Naruto suddenly made a backflip kick that hit Fried on the back, sending him upward. As Fried was sent upward, Naruto appeared on top of him with his fist reared back. Naruto threw the punch, and it connected on Fried's chest, sending him towards the ground. A small crater was created as Fried hit the ground. Naruto landed a few yards away from him. Fried coughed out blood as he felt several ribs broken, and some of his internal organs were damaged. I'm not going to kill you easily. I'm going to enjoy every single part of it until you plead that I just finish your worthless life. Naruto said with a sadistic smile as he slowly walked towards Fried. Yami no Ekriture, suffer, Fried said as he placed an enchantment on Naruto the moment he was at the range of his sword. Let's see how you react with my enchantments. Suffer, Fried exclaimed. Naruto suddenly crouched in front of him as he felt the effect of the enchantment. Fried smirked as he staggered to stand up. With all the talk you gave, only one enchantment defeats you. Let me finish your suffering. Yami no. Fried was stopped as Naruto suddenly grips his sword, and then with the force of his grip breaks it into many pieces. That can't be, Fried shouted. What can't? You think with that I will succumb to that puny excuse of suffering? So, that's how you hostage Kana to force Juvia into hitting a lacrima? You're utterly stupid if you think that you could use the same to me. That is not even an inch of what I had gone through. Naruto said while chuckling darkly. Impossible! You're lying, suffer, Fried exclaimed, but instead were writhing in suffering. Naruto just smiled sadistically and then suddenly held Fried by the neck. I already told you, didn't I? That doesn't work on me. You know your doll-loving friend? I turned him into a puppet and then interrogated him until he sung like a nightingale. Since you love inflicting pain to the other, shall I do the same to you? Naruto said sadistically. What did you do, Big Slow, you monster? Gah! Fried suddenly screamed in pain as he felt one of his pinky fingers snap. Oh, I'm so sorry. I get a little too excited when I get a defiant victim. Naruto said with an evil grin. Naruto then let Fried's neck go and then suddenly punched him on the gut strong enough that he was sent skidding and rolling on the floor. Run! Naruto ordered, which startled everyone. Run away, cause when I catch you, your chance of running will be slowly taken away from you. Naruto said dreadfully. Everyone just stared at him, shocked from fear. This was not the Naruto they knew. Even Juvia's stories of Naruto when he was still on Phantom was not like this. Juvia had always said that Naruto was a person who would avoid hurting someone if he could. He wouldn't torture someone just to be satisfied, nor for fun. The Naruto in front of them was a different person, if you could still call him that. He was like an evil incarnate personified, even if it was for revenge. Plus, that foul magic he was emitting ever since he arrived, it was tainted not just by hatred, but by pure evil. Fried couldn't move. No, it was not because he was hurt, but because his body won't stop shaking. Fear? So much fear was coursing through his body as he saw Naruto walking towards him. His mind kept on shouting for him to run away for his life, but his body just won't move. Sinister. It was the only word that could describe the aura Naruto was emitting. Death. That was the only thing Fried could see from those heterochromatic eyes. Levantine is waking up. Those were the words that Mira Jane suddenly heard from nowhere. For a moment, she thought that she felt a satanic woman standing behind her, but before she could look behind, her eyes widened when she saw Naruto standing in front of the downed Fried and his sword about to stab Fried. The silence was broken by a blade meeting flesh, and then silence reigned again. In a chapter 10, and so, how was it? I know it's the longest chapter one have ever written, and I hope it didn't bore you. If there are grammatical errors, please tell me. Good thing, it looks like Mira won't die in the manga after all. My next update, I don't know when, but it won't be more than a month. Oh, and about Naruto's sensibility, being fooled well, all I can say is it is like the eyes. It helps you, but sometimes it tricks you. Laughing face. I wonder who was the satanic woman behind Mira. May you all probably knew who she was. No? I'm not telling. Tongue sticking out. Thanks, and please read and review. Laughing face. Good or bad, I appreciate it and gives me more reason to go on. Smiley face. Chapter 11. Before everything, sorry about the late update. I got sidetracked too much by my work, and okay, I struggled writing this. And yeah, this chapter is supposed to be action-packed, but I'll let you decide on that. It's also my longest chapter ever written, about 11,400 without my rumblings. I hope you like this chapter, and yep, Naruto will be using his magic here, but not by too much, I think. There's nothing much for me to say, but I hope you like this chapter, and I hope I didn't have too much grammatical errors. Oh, and please read and review, and belated Happy Easter. Review Appreciation Corner. Eclipse X, Back a Pervert, Sean San, Hypothetical Spiritual Entity, Lightning Blade 49, Akira Stritter, Jimabob 5536, Azuriel Case, Speed Demon, Red and Juniper Lay, Observer 01, Junkie, Simica, this is actually really good, Green-Eyed Typhoon, Juin Sorvala Potter, Erlaner of Rinder, Athena Dark Angel of Death, Manaki-chung, Kahakakich. Thank you very much for your reviews. It really makes me want to write more and more. I hope this chapter answers some of your questions, speculations, and other things that you might want to know. I'll do my best to make you stay hooked on my story. Dr. Cannibal. Well, some of your questions will be answered this chapter. Some will be answered on the next. I laughed at the Makarov speech, but nope, he won't be saying that. I hope you like this chapter. Yeah, I got inspiration for the next chapters. My only problem is squeezing the time to write it. Thanks for the review. Laughing face. Cloves. Sorry for the late update, and yup, Ray Jinsha needed to be taught a lasting lesson about hurting your own friends. Haha Happy is really a good character to be used on making humorous scenes. Fear Tay Evil Cat. Laughing face. Thanks for the review. Smiley face. Hades 252-2. About Levi and Winnie not feeling disturbed on the condition of Bixlow. For one, saving Bixlow's life is on top priority. Also, Levi had already an experience on what Naruto can do. She had experienced it firsthand. Though he was being ordered by that time, it wouldn't be hard to imagine what he could do if his precious people is in danger. Not to mention, she knew that Naruto has the cursed sword that could take over him any moment. About Wendy, she was sent by Makarov for a reason, and since Lucy was there to tell them Naruto's condition, You could picture that she was kind of prepared by Makarov. About Happy. Haha, he is very hard to understand. He's a shady character. Smiley face. I hope the chapter answers your questions. Thanks for the update. Smiley face. Agent Bizarre. No. In the first chapter, QB was removed and dissipated in the space-time rift. Thanks for the review. Smiley face. Mark. Thanks. There are many things happening to Naruto at the moment. Poor Naruto. Smiley face. Meat Bun Lover. Nope, Naruto didn't forget his jutsus, but as of now, he couldn't use it because... Sorry, can't say it, hee. Thanks for the review. Winky face. Jirak. About Mist Gun. I'm not really sure. Some manga translates him as Mist Gun, some Mistigan. So, I'm not really 100% sure what to use. Just like how some use Gajeel, and some use Gazil, or Juvia, and Luvia. So, I'm kind of just picking one from the two, and then being consistent About me having a review answer corner, well, it's more like tradition to me and a show of my appreciation. I also hope that the questions I answer for some of the reviewers also answers the other's question as they read though it. About the random Japanese words, I have fixed at this chapter, but I didn't change the name honorifics. Haha, kinda like it better using Naruto, Sensei than Teacher Naruto. Thanks for the comments and review. Smiley face. Game Junkie 7. It's kind of like a tradition to me on placing the review answers on my chapter as a form of appreciation on the reviews hi. About Fried and Naruto, it's going to be answered here. About Gajeel, I've already decided what to do with him but I'm not going to spoil it He may be on this story or he may not. Laughing face. IRA Springs. Well, about Naruto, Universe, and Chakra, I can't answer that now since it would spoil my story, but rest assured that it would be answered as the story goes on. Thanks for the review. Smiley face. Sisbarg01. About Naruto's sensor abilities, I can't answer it fully without giving away a spoiler, but yes, he got the procedure of doing it by relating it when he was still a sage. Oh, that mage? Yeah. Naruto will meet him, her very soon. The other questions will be answered in this chapter. Laughing face. Thanks for the review. Rusty Max. Thanks for the compliments. Sorry, I'm not really good with writing harems, so I'm still contemplating about it. But yeah, taking the sister role is really fitting for Juvia. Laughing face. Yeah, as much as I could, I wanted to follow the fairy tale story because I like it as it is, and it's kind of like a challenge to me too, Thanks again. Smiley face. Phew, that was long, now, under the story. Laughing face. Guides. Talking Thoughts. 0000 flashback 0000 / change scene. Disclaimer. I don't own Naruto or Fairy Tail and its characters. I only own this story because if I did, then Levi will be the main heroine. Laughing face. Chapter 11. Fighting Festival of Dragons, Demons, and Mages. The deafening silence was suddenly broken by a howl of pain. Naruto smirked as he looked at his victim. Naruto's sword was stabbed to one of Fried's legs. Fried grasped Levantine's blade to take out the sword from his leg, but to no avail since Naruto was holding it down. I told you, didn't I? I won't kill you until you plead to me for your death. Let's see how good you are at managing the things you always inflict. Pain, fear, suffering, Naruto said as he moved his sword while still being stabbed on Fried's leg. Fried felt an unbelievable amount of pain as the sword was being jerked around. He shouted and tried hard to take out the sword. I wonder what would happen if I shoot a dark pulse while my sword is embedded on your leg? Do you think it will blow your leg off, or will it blow half of your body? I wonder. Shall we give it a try? It will be fun, Naruto said while smiling evilly. Fried could only look at Naruto's face with so much fear, and that point he started to mentally break down. Please don't. I apologize for... Gah! Fried's apology was interrupted as Naruto took out the sword from his leg. Naruto laughed sinisterly as he looked at the cowering form of Fried. Didn't you understand what I said? I believe I said that the only way for you to escape this is when you ask me for your death. What happened to that defiant attitude? I never thought that you were so easy to break down. You only have two options, run away or plead for your death. What will it be, Fried? Naruto said as he watched Fried painfully try to crawl away from him. He's going to kill him if you don't do something, Mira Jane, the voice said. Mira looked around trying to find the source of the voice, but to no avail. She looked at Kana and saw that she was cringing at the sight. Only you can hear me, and you know where to find me. Have you forgotten my voice? Have you forgotten all about me? The voice said. Mira suddenly realized who was talking to her, and she closed her eyes, but when she opened it, she was on a place that was dark as a moonless and starless night. All she knew was that she was standing on top of water. A figure appeared in front of her. The figure formed into a satanic woman. Finally, you answer my call, Mira. The woman started. Zatanna, we don't have much time for catching up. We need to merge and stop Levantine from waking up. But I don't have the take over magic anymore. I lost it when she died. Mira was interrupted as she was slapped hard by Zatanna, making her stumble down to the floor. She looked up and saw the enraged face of the culprit. Stop living in the past already, you selfish bitch. Do you really think I would still be here if you really had lost your magic? You never lost your magic. You just lost your will to use it, Zatanna exclaimed. But it's my fault that she died. Mira said teary-eyed. Yes, it is. And it will be for the rest of our life. But do you really think your sister will be happy seeing you like this? Do you really think she will be happy knowing that her sister, whom she idolized, have become just a barmaid that can't even stand up to do what must be done? Do you think she will be happy knowing how a coward you have become? Mira just looked at the woman with hesitation. Naruto will kill Fried. You and I both know that. You also know that he isn't completely in control. Levantine has almost taken over. You and I both know what kind of monster Levantine is. Right now, the past is repeating in front of you. A family will be killed by another who is being controlled by a monster. Deja vu, isn't it? Zatanna took a deep breath to calm herself, and then she looked at Mira with a sad smile. Stop ignoring me anymore. Elfman has been doing his best to move on. You're not the only one who felt guilty about that. Elfman and I do too. Take my hand and let's become one again, and this time, let's save our family from death and sadness. Okay, Zatanna said as she extended a hand to Mira. Mira wiped her tears and then smiled with a determined expression on her face. Yes, let's do it, and this time, Mira started. The demon Mira Jane won't fail, they said in unison as both of them dissipated into tiny specks of light. Mira opened her eyes and saw Naruto, who was already pinning down Fried on the ground with a foot on his back. He was about to stab Fried's other leg when Mira shouted, Stop it already, Naruto! A strong wave of magic flooded the area as she used Satan's soul. She flew towards Naruto at high speed. Naruto looked at the speeding Mira, but before he could react, she had already tackled him away. When they were a little far from the others, Mira let Naruto go. They stood facing each other. Demon Mira Jane, I don't have anything against you, but if you get in my way, then I will not hesitate to draw my sword. Naruto said menacingly, Don't make me laugh. You think I will back down against you, Levantine? Mira answered. Naruto frowned and said, I believe you are thoroughly mistaken, since I am fully in control. Naruto said, Wrong, you only believe that you are in full control. I can feel Levantine's presence coming from you, and not on the sword. He may not be in full control yet, but he is already influencing your mind. What gibberish are you saying? I am in full control, Naruto shouted angrily. The real Naruto won't get agitated by simple explanation like that. Levantine fuels your negative feelings and then gives you tainted magic to make you feel like you could just do everything to satisfy that negative feeling. Unknown to you, Levantine has started to eat your soul and take over your body. We have to stop it before it is too late. Mira stated, Real me? What do you know about the real me? Don't say things like you know who I really am. For all you know, I could have been a cold-blooded assassin who had killed hundreds of lives. Stop your nonsense, lest you want to be my next victim. Naruto shouted angrily. I won't let you do things that would ultimately destroy yourself. I will fight you if it is the only thing left for me to do to save you. Mira said as she readied herself to fight. Fine by me, Naruto shouted as he charged towards Mira. While in mid-charge, he swiped his sword into the air and produced a strong, dark pulse towards Mira. He knew that she won't be dodging since doing so would probably make the others be hit by his magic. I too can do that. Dark pulse, Mira exclaimed as she also shot out the similar magic as a counterattack. The two dark pulses collide and produced a strong explosion. Debris and dust shot out from the center of the attack. As the commotion toned down, Naruto and Mira-Jane stood facing each other. I forgot that Zatanna was also from Makai, Naruto stated. Static explosion, Luxu said as his body was suddenly engulfed by electricity. Natsu and Gray, who were on mid-attack towards him, jumps away to prevent themselves from being electrocuted. What they didn't expect, though, was for the electricity to go wild and then made a strong explosion that sent them both flying towards the seats of the cathedral. Darn it, I didn't expect that, Gray said through gritted teeth as his body ached all over from the punishment of the battle he had sustained. I'd hate to admit this, but where the hell is Naruto when you need him? Gray said. I don't know, lost maybe? Why are you even looking for him? We can do this, Natsu exclaimed as he stood up. TCH, what a time to get lost. But you're right, we have to beat Luxus with or without him, Gray said as he painfully stood up. Gray was about to devise a new plan when Natsu suddenly tackled him away from where they were standing. What are... Gray words were forgotten as he saw a fist made of electricity shot down from where they were standing. Haha, nice dodge there, Natsu. It's good that at least one of you are still able to amuse me. Luxus laughed. Bastard, Natsu said as his fists were engulfed into flames. Let's see how you dodge it again. Lightning Dragon's breakdown fist, Luxus said as he punched towards them, thereby producing another fist made out of lightning. The large fist raced towards them at incredible speed that they didn't have time to dodge as it collided. Huh, how do you like my knockout punch? Luxus taunted. As the attack faded, he looked towards them and smirked. So, the Ice Mage still has something left on his tank, Luxus stated as he looked at the destroyed ice shield. The shield obviously wasn't able to fully protect them, though, as both of them were thrown a little back from where they were. Don't underestimate me, Gray said, huffing. Really now, saying that when you're huffing like fish taken out of water. I'll finish you first, Lightning Halberd, Luxus exclaimed as he fired spear made of electricity. Flame Dragon Soar, Natsu exclaimed as he produced jet fire on his feet to propel him towards Gray with incredible speed. He tackled Gray to the side, just in time to dodge the halberd. Well, Gray, I'll distract him for a while. Use that time to recover your energy and think of a new plan. Make it quick, though, Natsu said as he started to stand up. Gray looked surprised for a while, but looking at Natsu's serious face told him that just like him, Natsu was getting desperate. Gray looked around and saw the destroyed cathedral chairs scattered around. Then he saw a group of destroyed chairs. When he was about to look somewhere else, he caught a glimpse of something that sparked an idea. Hey Natsu, I have a plan, Gray whispered. What? That was fast, Natsu said. Listen, I want you to taunt Luxus into using any lightning attack, Gray said. Well, that is easy, Natsu answered. No, the tricky part is you have to make sure the attack hits those wooden chairs, Gray said. All right, let's do it, Natsu said as he cracked his knuckles. Try to be bait, and then when the path of the attack is right, dodge. That's the best way. Gray said, a little surprised that Natsu agreed so easily. Gray suddenly whispered to Natsu's ear the plan, to which Natsu nodded and snickered. You two what are whispering and snickering in there, Luxus said, irritated at their antics. Both looked at him seriously. Ice make dagger, Gray whispered as he produced a dagger and hid it behind him. We only have one chance. Luxus is too good to fall for something twice, he thought. I'm going to beat the crap out of you, Luxus, Natsu exclaimed as he charged towards Luxus with flaming fist. As I have said before, I really hate your head-on charge style, Luxus said as he reared back his fist to punch Natsu, but on mid-charge Natsu suddenly changed direction by producing fire on one of his foot, propelling him sidewards. When he saw that he was in the right position, he stopped the flames and prepared a Dragon Slayer's signature attack. I'm going to fry you with my flaming roar, Natsu said as he started to place his hand in an all-too-familiar manner. Fool! Lightning Dragon's Roar, Luxus exclaimed as he immediately released a dragon roar even before Natsu could fire his. Natsu smirked as he produced another jet flames in one of his foot that propelled him again sidewards, dodging the roar. Flames Dragon's Roar, Natsu exclaimed as he fired the attack after he dodged. Gray, seeing the attack going to the designated spot, threw the dagger he produced. The dagger sailed towards the intended target. Please work, he thought. Luxus could only look as he saw the flaming roar go towards him and the dagger traveling towards its target. He could only think of one thing. I was fooled, he thought as the roar struck him. Meanwhile, the dagger was successful and it cut one of the ropes that were holding the altar lamps. The lamps skidded and fell down. The lightning roar struck the falling lamps and it exploded due to the oil inside the lamp. The explosion caught the wooden chair on fire, as well as the curtains and other flammable materials around the explosion. Free meal, Natsu said as he was about to start eating the fire. No, wait, let it spread first, Gray said, to which Natsu complied while drooling at the spreading flames. You brats, Luxus shouted angrily. Now Natsu, Gray ordered as Natsu greedily ate the flames. Sensing that it would spell trouble even for him if Natsu gets a huge power-up, Luxus charged towards Natsu. Ice make, geyser, Gray said as Luxus was suddenly encased in ice, giving Natsu more time to devour the flames. You forgot about me, Gray said tiredly. Natsu burped as his stomach was so full. He gave a thumb up on Gray, but they were interrupted as the ice covering Luxus exploded into many pieces. Gray was caught into the explosion and was flung away. You loser, eat this. Lightning halberd, Luxus shouted as he threw a lightning halberd towards the downed Gray. Natsu, though, suddenly appeared on the path of the attack and was about to attack. Flame dragon's roar, Natsu exclaimed as he unleashed a roar more than thrice powerful than his previous roar. The lightning easily succumbed to the strength of the roar. The roar continued towards Luxus, who had no time to react as the roar raced towards him at high speed. Gray, rest now. I can take it from here, Natsu said as he engulfed his whole body into flames. He then gathered it on his hands and then jumped high. He brought his hands together, clashing the two flames, and then it expanded and became a large ball of flame. Eat this bastard, fire dragon's spherical flame, he exclaimed as he threw the fireball towards the smoke where Luxus was. Lightning dragon's twin spheres, Luxus exclaimed as two spheres of lightning shot out from the smoke. The two spheres circle each other at a very fast rate. The two attacks collided and exploded, rocking the whole cathedral. Natsu, though, wasn't fazed as he was currently descending towards Luxus with flaming fists. Give it up, you punk, Luxus shouted as his body was covered with electricity. Natsu threw a flaming punch to which Luxus swatted with his lightning-covered hands, and then his free hand formed into a fist and punched Natsu on the gut. Natsu, though, instead of being thrown away, held Luxus' fist and then encased himself into flames. Luxus winced as he felt his arm got burned, but Natsu didn't let up. Flame dragon's horn, Natsu exclaimed as he tackled Luxus with his flaming body, disregarding the electrocution he feels from the electricity covering Luxus. Flame dragon's crushing fangs, Natsu exclaimed in mid-flight as he let Luxus loose and then swipe him with his flaming hands. Luxus was thrown away by the strength of the attack, and Natsu used this chance to prepare for his secret art. Time to finish this off. Flame lotus, he exclaimed as he was suddenly hit by Luxus' lightning twin spheres. Gah! He shouted as he was electrocuted by the two spheres that seemingly rotated around him. Luxus slowly stood up and spit out some blood from his mouth as he looked at the currently being electrocuted Natsu. Those two spheres didn't dissipate as when they hit your fireball. I just used the explosion as a distraction to hide them underneath the ground, making them like a trap. As I thought, your head on char style will fall for a trap like that, Luxus said as he called upon a lightning from the sky to replenish his energy, but he was surprised. When the lightning didn't come, he frowned and then looked up. His eyes widened when he saw the whole ceiling was covered by a dome of ice. He looked at the windows and saw that they were also covered in ice. Essentially, the whole cathedral was inside an Eskimo-like structure. How do you like my work? Gray said before passing out from too much exhaustion. Flame dragon's brilliant flames, Natsu exclaimed as he clasped his hand together and produced an explosion, sending the spheres away from him. Our plan worked. I'll finish you now, Luxus. Natsu shouted as he charged towards Luxus with ignited fists. Suddenly, he felt something coming towards him from the back, and he dodged by jumping up. The two spheres continued its movement, but instead of attacking Natsu, they raced towards Luxus, waiting mouthing. He greedily ate them to Natsu's surprise. Lightning Dragon's Roar! Luxus exclaimed. The attack hit the surprised Natsu, and he was flung towards a wall. Natsu shakily stood up with wide eyes and could only look at Luxus' healing injuries. Impossible. How can a dragon slayer eat his own magic? Was all the words he could say. Luxus just smirked, and then it was his turn to charge towards the stunned Natsu. Naruto sidestepped to dodge Mira's kick. He caught her foot with his hand, and then swung her around before letting go, thus throwing her up in the air. Mira got her bearings back and was able to stop the momentum of the throw, but before she could counter, Naruto was already in front of her and his sword on a quick draw motion. He drew his sword quickly to slash Mira, but she was able to protect her torso by crossing her armored scaled claws. A loud clang was heard as if metal struck metal. The claws and scales that are harder than steel. The claws that were drenched by demon blood for most of your life, till you were. Naruto's speech was cut off as black electricity suddenly built up on Mira's claws and was about to explode. Naruto kicked Mira away from him. The electricity exploded just as he landed on the ground. You know what's funny? You kept on saying that Levantine hasn't influenced you, and yet somehow know things that only a being from Makai only knew. A fish is caught by his own mouth, Mira said as she stared down Naruto below. Naruto didn't answer, but instead he attacked again in a similar manner. He charged towards Mira, ready to draw his sword in one swift slashing motion. And yet another proof of Levantine's influence, Mira said as she charged her magic. Darkness Stream, she exclaimed as shadowy hand shoots out towards Naruto and caught him. Naruto, in return, tried to dodge, but since he was on mid-charge and on air, he couldn't get momentum to push him out of the way. The darkness took hold of him. Levantine, you are a monster who only fights on instinct. You would keep on charging again and again with the same intensity, plan, and motive. You won't stop doing it until the victim is annihilated. In terms of strength, I won't be able to defeat you, but you are still technically sealed, and still an idiot of a dragon as ever. Mira said as she flew towards Naruto, who was starting to be fully engulfed by the darkness. Hang on, Naruto. You'll be freed from his influence when the connection between the two of you is stopped. Mira said as she grasped the sword and was about to pry it out of Naruto's grip when suddenly Naruto smirked and said, You fell for my trap, Satana. Hell's hurricane! Naruto exclaimed as Mira was suddenly engulfed in a hurricane of dark energy. She was swirled inside. The force of the hurricane made it impossible for her to move out. Fuck. Since when did Levantine knew how to plan ahead? She thought as she tried her best to get out of the hurricane, but to no avail. As I said, Levantine was never in control. Naruto said as if reading her mind as he appeared in front of her and slashed at her. She was able to protect herself from the slash with one of her claws. Demon's Cannon. Naruto said as a ball of fast rotating dark energy came out of his sword and launched Mira away. So what now, Zatanna? Naruto said as he walked towards the down Mira. If you are not Levantine, how come you knew about Makai and my name? Mira said as she slowly stood up. Naruto stopped in his tracks and stared at Mira, his face with a frown as he tried to remember, but couldn't find any answer. Mira used this temporary confusion to attack. She flew above the river and then charged her magic. Evil explosion, she exclaimed as she controlled the river water and then sent it towards the confused Naruto. Naruto was caught by the attack and swirled inside until the water exploded and he was sent crashing to the ground. Fuck it, he just wouldn't let go of that sword. Mira cursed as she saw that the attack wasn't able to separate Naruto from his sword. She flew quickly towards where Naruto was lying to take his sword, but as she was about to grab it, she had to quickly flew back to dodge a swipe from the sword. Naruto, listen to me. You may not know it, but unconsciously you are being controlled by Levantine. He is feeding you negative emotion. He is slowly turning you into someone you aren't. You may be in control right now, but he is slowly eating your soul and mind away. The real you wouldn't do something like this. You value family above all. Think what would Juvia feel when she sees what is happening to you. Mira exclaimed, "Stop it! Stop confusing me!" Naruto shouted as he appeared in front of Mira and swiped his sword. He is starting to fight purely on instinct. I have to hurry, Mira thought as she caught Naruto's sword. She grasped the tip of the blade with her scaled hand and tried to yank it away from his grasp, but Naruto didn't let go, and instead he charged up a dark pulse. Mira, sensing the buildup of magic from the sword, kicked Naruto in the chest in hopes of making him loose grasp, but he didn't, and the dark pulse hit her point blank, producing an explosion. "Big sis!" Elfman shouted as his right fist changed and was about to attack, but he felt himself being held back by Kana. "No, Elfman, don't interfere," Kana pleaded. "But my sister," Elfman shouted as he tried to struggle out of Kana's hold. "Trust her. She won't go down that easily. You'll just be on her way," she pleaded. Elfman stopped struggling out of Kana's hold and settled to just watch the fight. He was ready, though, to charge onto the battle if his sister ever needs it. When the dust cleared, Naruto was standing in front of a pile of debris. He smirked and turned his back. He walked towards Fried, eager to continue where he left off. "Now that the nuisance is out of the way, shall we continue where we left off, Fried-san?" Naruto said. He was halfway towards Fried when he felt a strong energy being gathered from above. When he looked up, he saw Mira Jane was about to finish gathering dark energy at a single sphere and was ready to fire. "Impossible. I was sure I smelled your fragrance from those piles," Naruto said as he looked at the pile of debris, only to see the pink cloth that was previously tied on Mira Jane's neck. "Since when did you become too reliant on your sense of smell, Naruto-san? You're not a dragon slayer, and you're certainly not a dragon. Soul extinction." Mira Jane smirked as she fired a beam of dark energy towards Naruto. Naruto gripped the handle of his sword and prepared for a counterattack. He was surprised, though, as he felt that he couldn't draw his sword. It's as if someone was stopping him from drawing it. His eyes widened when he heard a stern and familiar voice. "Since when did you draw your sword against your precious people, Naruto?" He looked towards his side where his sword was. For a moment, he thought he saw Valandil looking at him with a stern face. One of Valandil's palm was resting on top of his sword's handle, preventing him from drawing it. His face softens into a warm smile. "You shouldn't hurt those who are precious to you, Naruto," was the last thing Naruto heard as he felt the dark energy about to hit him. In the back of his mind, he could hear someone taunting and ordering him to dodge the attack, but he knew he shouldn't. "Shut up, Levantine," he mumbled as he let the energy engulf him. He felt the dark aura of Levantine being sucked out of his body, but Levantine won't let himself be defeated easily. He feeds on negative emotion, and he knew all too well what he needed. Naruto suddenly felt something wrong as he was engulfed by the dark energy. Suddenly, the dark energy was gone, and he was standing on a shrine inside a forest. "This was all Naruto could say as he saw someone walking towards the shrine with a dazed look on his eyes. "Someone is calling me," the boy said as he entered the shrine. "No, you idiot. Don't listen to the voice. Stop and turn around. Go back to your master. Go back to Valandil," Naruto shouted as he tried to block the boy's path towards the center of the shrine, but the boy only passed through him as if he was a ghost. He turned around and tried to grab onto the boy, but again the boy just passed through him like a ghost. Naruto could only look in horror as his younger self was standing in front of the cursed sword. "Don't!" he shouted, but he was surprised as he also heard a female's voice shouting the same word. She had raven hair and was at least a little older than him. She ran past the ghost Naruto and tackled the young Naruto away from the sword. "You idiot! What are you thinking? You know what this sword is, right? Do you want your soul to be eaten?" she exclaimed as she shook the boy. The boy said a name. A tick mark grew on the girl's forehead as she said, "I told you, don't call me with that name." She was cut off by the boy. "Get out of my way," the boy said dreadfully as he pushed her away from him. Her eyes widened as she felt her whole body was pushed by a strong and unseen force, and she was flung away from him. The ghost Naruto could only watch in horror as he saw the girl flew towards a wall, but before the girl hit the wall, a shadow came and caught her. Her savior lands on the ground with grace as he put her down. Valandil-san, the girl said. Stay out of this. Valandil said. But Naruto-chan is... She protested. Please stay out of this. I wouldn't be able to face your master if something bad happens to you. So please understand. Valandil said with a stern voice, but she knew that he was pleading. I understand, she said with her head down. Thank you. You're really such a nice girl, he said as he placed a hand on her shoulder. He then whispered something to her, which obviously confused her as she looked at Valandil with a questioning gaze. He then walked away from her and towards the young Naruto. Naruto, drop that sword this moment or I will have to do it forcefully. The young Naruto only looked at him with a crazed look and an evil smirk. In a blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Valandil with sword raised. The ghost Naruto held his head and screamed as he felt the negative emotions he felt that day came back. He also felt Levantine feeding on it again. Someone help me! Master, help me! Naruto screamed. Finally, I found you. You have been overcome again by Levantine's tricks. Naruto heard as a ghostly hand was placed on his shoulder. He looked back and saw the ghostly figure of his master. How was all he could say. Have you forgotten what I said? Valandil asked. Naruto was silent as he looked at Valandil's smiling face. Valandil's ghost started to dissipate, and everything around him started to turn black. Worry not, for I will always look after you, was the words he heard as he succumbed to the darkness. Naruto! Naruto, are you all right, Naruto? He heard a familiar female voice say. He opened his eyes and was face to face with Mira Jane, who was still in her Satan soul mode. What? Naruto said, bewildered as he sat up. It looks like you're back to normal. More importantly, what were you thinking losing yourself to that stupid dragon? Mira Jane said as her fist connected to Naruto's head. Ow! What happened? Last thing I know was I was engulfed by your magic. Naruto said as he nursed his head. So you were really in control? She asked with a tick mark on her head. I'm not sure. I know what I was doing and I knew that it isn't right, but I just couldn't stop. It's like a part of me really wanted what I was doing. I guess you were right. That stupid dragon was controlling me through my negative emotions. He also made me felt strong and gave me knowledge like I could destroy anyone or anything that threatened me, but as his control became more prominent, I was starting to only fight on instinct. Naruto answered, and then he started to stand up. How were you able to know Levantine's true nature? All accounts about this sword only say about it being a sword forged by Zeref. How were you able to know that what the ancient writing said wasn't true, and what was that magic? It felt like it separated Levantine's dark energy from me. Naruto asked, let's talk about it some other time and in private. Right now, Luxus comes first. Mira Jane said. Naruto got what she wanted to say and just nodded as they walked towards the others. Oi, you sane now? Kana asked. Yeah, sorry for what happened. Naruto answered as he walked towards Fried. Fried instinctively tried to get away from Naruto in fear. First off, I'm not going to apologize for hurting you since you deserve it because of what you did to my sister, but I do apologize for letting the darkness took over me and going overboard. I just realized that maybe you were feeling just like I do when I was still ordered around by Jose. Sorry, Naruto said, but he was cut off by Fried. I don't need pity from anybody, Fried shouted. I'm not showing you pity, Naruto answered. Then just finish it. Finish me, because if it was me, I would have killed you without a doubt. Fried stated. And yet you didn't kill my sister when you had a chance. Naruto said. Because I was busy with Kana. Fried answered. How hard was it to strike Juvia with your sword while saying the word suffer to incapacitate Kana? Naruto asked. Fried went silent. Admit it or not, you considered everyone on Fairy Tail, including us, as family. Fried cut off Naruto. Shut up. I only have Luxus and the Rei Jinshu as a friend. Everyone else was nothing but nuisance. Fried's outburst was interrupted as he was attacked by Mira. In an instant, Mira was beside him and was about to bring down her fist to his face, and for a moment he thought that it was the end. But Mira's fist stopped just in front of his face, and she transformed back to the Mira everyone loved. This scenario is so sad, don't you think? Everyone in Fairy Tail, we are family, and seeing your family fight each other even if you don't deny it. It feels so sad, right? She said, As I said, all I care about is Luxus and Rei Jinshu. You say that, but tears flow out of your eyes when I said that everyone on Fairy Tail was a family. Fried touched his cheeks, and indeed there were tears streaming down. You remember, don't you? How everyone smile, cry, and fight together. How everyone had always been welcomed and embraced. It's not bad to cling to just a small group. All of us had that tendency, but that doesn't mean that you should close yourself from the others, because after all, we are one big happy family. Mira said as she looked unafraid. You see, you only have to reach out your hand, and there will always be someone right here to help you. It's when people realize how lonely it is being alone that they start to become kind. The same goes for you, Naruto, Mira said. Yeah, Naruto said as he bowed his head, willing his tears not to fall. Fried started to cry, openly saying how he really never wanted to do those things. Let's all enjoy the Harvest Festival after all of this is through, okay? Mira said with a smile. Suddenly, Elfman felt someone was beside him. He looked at the direction and saw Naruto carrying Juvia. Please bring Juvia and Fried to Wendy. She will be able to heal them. If ever Bixlow is still on top of the clock tower, please take him too. Naruto said as Elfman took Juvia from him. Thank you, Naruto said as he turned around towards the cathedral. Naruto, I don't have to worry about you when you fight Luxus, right? Mira said in a concerned tone, fearing that Naruto might lose it again when he fought Luxus. The response she got was Naruto handing the sheathed Levantine to her. Mira looked at the sword cautiously. Do not worry, the scabbard that holds Levantine is special. As long as you don't draw Levantine from it, you will be safe. And even if you draw it, as long as you don't give in to your negative emotions, he won't have a chance to take control. I'm sure you won't have a problem, and you have an alter ego to pull you out just in case. Naruto said, but how are you supposed to fight Luxus? Mira asked. I don't need that sword to beat Luxus. This time, I will be relying on my own abilities and magic. This sword will just hold me back. Naruto said as Mira took the sword. I'll also hand you my other weapons. I don't want to accidentally use them and permanently injure Luxus. Naruto said as he handed Mira his other weapons. Very well, good luck and bring Luxus back, okay? Mira said cheerfully. Naruto nodded as he walked away and then disappeared. Gah! Natsu exclaimed as his back skidded to the ground via Luxus' punch. Ah! So with all that loud mouth, this is all you got. Luxus taunted as he watched Natsu stagger to get up. Bastard, I don't know how you were able to eat your own magic, but that is just disgusting. It's like eating your own vomit, but I won't lose to you. Natsu said as he stood up. Still with that nonsense, I'll permanently shut up that mouth of yours. Luxus taunted, to which Natsu responded with a battle cry and charged towards Luxus. Luxus smirked as he saw Natsu took the bait. Natsu was always easy to read. Luxus backhanded Natsu, but instead of being thrown away, Natsu held onto Luxus' arm, and then he used it as a leverage to deliver a roundhouse kick towards Luxus, but his eyes widened as Luxus caught his kick. Always easy to read, aren't you, Natsu? You fell for my trap, Zap, Luxus said as lightning coursed from Luxus' body towards Natsu, electrocuting Natsu. Gah! Natsu screamed as he felt his body convulse from the electrocution, but Luxus didn't stop until he felt something cold hit him from above. He looked at the ceiling and saw from the hole that the ice dome had cracks on it. He looked at the windows, and indeed the dome was starting to break apart. Look, Natsu, it looks like the protection Gray made is starting to break. You are out of luck, Luxus said just in time as the dome broke down and then vanished. It looks like Gray's magic has expired. Luxus said, No, I actually dispelled it as there is someone knocking. It would be a lot of trouble if we got buried in ice. Gray said tiredly. Ah, so you're awake, Gray. Very well. It must be another foolish loser. Time to finish you too, Luxus said as he threw Natsu towards Gray and then followed it with a lightning halberd, but he was surprised to see smirks on their faces. Before Luxus could ask why, he saw a blur between his magic and Natsu, and he was surprised to see his magic heading straight back to him. He opened his mouth and ate his magic. What took you so long? Natsu asked. Luxus looked at them and saw Naruto standing in front of him. Natsu and Gray were sitting tiredly on the floor behind him. Sorry, I got lost in the road of life, but I'm back now, Naruto answered. Natsu and Gray looked at Naruto confused, but didn't comment. On Naruto, glad to see you join us. Luxu said. Natsu, Gray, good work. Rest for now, I'll take care of him. Naruto said seriously. What are you saying? There's no way I'm… Natsu's voice died out as he saw the look Naruto was giving them. It wasn't harsh or pleading. It was a look a leader would give his subordinates, a look radiating with confidence and authority. For some reason, both Gray and Natsu could only nod, like it was the right thing to do. Naruto nodded in thanks and faced Luxus. Now, I believe we have something to settle. Naruto said, Huh, foolish brat. So you came after all. You didn't even bring your sword. Are you so eager to be beaten? Luxus taunted, noticing Naruto's lack of weapon. No, actually, I believe none uses a sword when they dispose of garbage. Do you? Naruto answered coolly. I'll show you who the garbage is. Let's see how you put up against me, an elite S-class dragon slayer. Luxus shouted angrily. Shouldn't it be an elite S-class liar? Naruto answered. What? Luxus shouted as Naruto has repeatedly hit a nerve. All you have said until now was a lie. You said that losers couldn't beat you or your Reijinchu, and yet none of your Reijinchu stands. And it's not like you didn't have any problem battling those so-called losers. And to top it all, spouting nonsense like you were a real dragon slayer. Real dragon slayers can't eat their own magic, and even if they could, they won't since it is taboo for them. You even have to be in Dragon Force mode just to execute those attacks, right? So, tell me, oh dear Luxus-chan, are you real or fake? Naruto taunted. Brat, get your sword and fight me. Too much concern for your opponent. Luxus-chan, or are you afraid of me defeating you despite handicap? Naruto answered calmly. I've had enough of bantering with you. Lightning Dragon's twin spheres. Luxus said as two spheres shot towards Naruto. Dance! Luxus exclaimed as the two spheres rotate to each other, forming an electric field between them. The movement quickened until it was moving too fast, and then raced towards Naruto at unimaginable speed. Luxus smirked. He knew that if Naruto manages to dodge this attack, the brats behind him will be hit. He was surprised, though, as he saw Naruto smirked. Before he could react, Luxus was struck by the two rotating spheres. Natsu and Gray's eyes bulged in surprise. Luxus was just hit by his own magic, and he wasn't even able to react to it. Luxus-chan, you got too reckless in using your magic. You shouldn't just throw projectile magic recklessly. Naruto teased. What happened? Gray asked, but nobody answered as Natsu was also struck with awe. Luxus glared at Naruto while trying hard to process in his brain how the hell did it happen. What did you do? Luxus asked. Me? Why ask me? That was your magic, not mine. Naruto answered innocently. You did something to it. Luxus said. You shouldn't point fingers to others, you know? Maybe it was your incompetence in using your magic, that's why you misfire, or maybe your magic is rebelling against you. Naruto suggested. Don't fuck with me. Lightning halberd! Luxus exclaimed as he threw the magic towards Naruto, but before he knew it, it was already heading towards him. The halberd, though, was slower than the twin spheres, so he had time to open his mouth and ate it. That was disgusting, and no, I have no intention of fucking you. I don't sway that way. Why not ask Guild Master Bob instead? Naruto teased. Shut up, you brat, Luxus said as he charged towards Naruto. Naruto knew that he was getting to Luxus' nerves and that it was making Luxus fight recklessly. That's right, fight without thinking. You'll be easier to defeat that way. Naruto thought. Luxus, on the other hand, was getting more and more frustrated. It was obvious that he was no match against Naruto when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. It was popularly known that Naruto was more of a fighter than a mage. Luxus is falling to Naruto's trap. There is no way he could defeat Naruto on hand-to-hand combat, especially when he doesn't have a plan. Naruto was built to be a fighter more than to be a mage. Not to mention that Luxus relied more on his lightning magic rather than his fists, but it looks like his back is on the wall since his lightning magic obviously does not work against Naruto. So it was true, Natsu won because Naruto let him. Gray thought as he watched Naruto toy Luxus. Luxus-chan, you're too slow. Naruto teased as he backhanded Luxus, which sent him sailing towards a wall. Just a little more, Erza said as she continued to multiply the swords that were now floating around her. She was suddenly startled when she heard a voice. Hey everyone, can you hear me? This is an emergency. Look at the sky. The voice said. Warren, Erza said, quit lying around and get up. Anyone who is fighting, give it a rest. Listen, we have to take out those things floating around in the sky with the magic we have. Not a single one must be left. It is Luxus magic, and it is about to attack the town. Warren shouted. Warren, how do you know? Erza asked. Erza? Thank goodness. I was desperately looking for you. A female voice said. Visca? Erza said. Visca and Erza are safe? Then what about the others? The other mages said. I apologize, but my telepathy could not reach the guild. Warren said, we're safe. I'm glad. It looks like everyone is okay. The Rei Jinshu has been beaten. Only Luxus is left. Mira answered. Then everyone started to fight verbally through the telepathy. Can the infighting stop now? We have a serious problem in here. Visca shouted, which silenced everyone. All right, let's destroy those floating lacrimas now. Alzak said, to which everybody agreed. Wait, those things are protected with living link magic. Erza said, but her warning fell on deaf ears. I see very well. I will handle the 200 in the north. Everyone handle the southern side, and don't leave a single one, she ordered. Wait, who is fighting Luxus if all of us are going to handle the lacrimas? One of the mages asked. Gray and Natsu are currently fighting Luxus. Have faith in them, Erza answered. What? Many asked in fear. Oh, good grief, Magnolia is doomed. One said, don't worry, Naruto is probably with him by now. Kana said, oh, that's a relief. Visca said, isn't Naruto just as destructive as those two? Another said, to which everybody paled. Yep, Magnolia was doomed after all. Let's worry about that later, Visca ordered as everyone shouted in agreement. Everyone attacked the floating lacrimas and successfully destroyed every single one of them. There was a price, though, as each one of them was struck by the living link magic. Seriously, everyone is so reckless, Erza said. Like you are one to talk. Kana said. Hall of Thunder. Out of order. The rune of communication announced. It looks like we losers had beaten you again. So what now? Oh great, I am the next fairy tale master. Naruto taunted as he caught one of Luxus' punches and then turned to deliver a roundhouse kick. The kick connected to Luxus' cheek, and he was flung next to the announcing runes. The runes showed the names of the mages who destroyed the lacrimas and how many they destroyed. You damn brats, it looks like bargaining wasn't a good idea after all. I will then just do it through force, Luxus exclaimed as he called several thunderbolts from the sky. The thunderbolts pierced through the roof and were on their way towards his mouth, but before they reached his mouth, they suddenly changed direction and shot out through the windows of the cathedral. Well, that was a bad miss, Naruto commented. Luxus was fuming as Naruto once again did something to change the direction of his magic. You cheeky brat, Luxus said as his body was enveloped by lightning and shot out everywhere. Better get out of here now. This cathedral won't hold out, Naruto said as he appeared in front of Gray and Natsu. Luxus' magic exploded in a ball of lightning and destroyed the whole cathedral. Everyone saw the explosion from a distance. What the hell? Warren said, what was on everybody's mind. Yup, Magnolia is screwed, Mikao said. Naruto appeared a little away from the cathedral, carrying Gray and Natsu on each shoulder. He put them down and looked at the wreckage. He saw Luxus greedily eating as much thunderbolt he could from the sky. So he used that as a distraction so he could eat some lightning. Very clever, but very greedy. Naruto said, shouldn't you be worried that he is getting stronger? Natsu asked uncharacteristically. Since when did you become worried of your opponent getting stronger? Natsu? And yeah, I'm not worried. It would be good if he could give me a good fight now. Naruto answered. You are not worried because you are the worst enemy he could face, doesn't it? Gray stated. What are you saying? I'm just seeking a good fight, that's all. Naruto said. You could fool Natsu, but not me. For some reason, your magic allows you to redirect anything projectile, and since most of Luxus attacks are projectiles, he is at a disadvantage. The only thing you got is fighting you at close combat, an art you have mastered. So either way, you are at the advantage. You are very scary, you know that? Gray said. Naruto only smiled and shook his head. You give me too much credit. Stay here, you two. The fight will be more dangerous from now on, Naruto said as he walked towards Luxus. Luxus finished eating lightning and looked at the approaching Naruto. Huh, let's see how you me beat now. Luxus smirked as he placed his hand in an all-too-familiar stance. Ah, more flashy now I see. Naruto commented as Luxus released a thundering lightning dragon roar. The roar came rushing towards Naruto, but this time instead of it being deflected, Naruto disappeared and then reappeared next to Luxus and delivered a jaw-breaking punch to the surprised Luxus. Luxus was flung away by the strength of the punch and crashed to the rubble that was the cathedral. Instead of taking his time, Luxus stood up abruptly as if not minding the punch he had just received, but as he looked forward all he saw was Naruto's leg as he was hit by a kick straight in the face. The kick smashed the back of his head towards the ground. Before Luxus could compose himself, a thunderous punch was heading straight in his chest. The force released by the punch was so strong that it sent a shockwave. The ground of Magnolia shook as if an earthquake was happening. What is happening? Levi said as she tried hard to steady herself. What was that? Makarov asked as he saw a cloud of dust on a distance. Polyushka, Levi, and Wendy roamed the town of Magnolia to search for any injured mages, and they bump into Myra's group. Master? Are you all right? Visca asked, worried. Don't worry about me. I couldn't just stand by and do nothing. I have Polyushka and Wendy with me. Hang in there, everyone. Makarov said. Naruto-sensei, Wendy said as she also looked towards the dust cloud while healing Juvia. Huh? Levi asked. That is one of his attacks. I think it is called Shockwave Guillotine. She answered. What the hell is that? Mikao asked. I'm not sure too, but all I know is he executes it together with a punch, and then upon contact a strong shockwave explodes and destroys everything in its path. Wendy answered. Well, that confirms it. He really was holding back when he fought Natsu, because he never used that on their fight. Lucy deadpanned. No, he was weaker and probably couldn't use it when he was still in Phantom. Mira explained. Huh? What do you mean? Erza asked. Naruto's sword, he left it with me. He said that it would only hold him back, and that from now on he would be relying on his own magic. I think he only started training his magic recently. Mira said. No, Naruto and I had that magic even before he got the sword. He told me once that he just lost the will to use it. Something about his master. Juvia said weakly, who had just woke up. As the dust cloud subsided, a crater the size of the cathedral was formed. But at the center of the crater, only Naruto remains with his fist at the very center. Miss, Naruto said indifferently, though if you look closely, you could see a few sweat in his face. A little away from him, Luxus stood shakily. He was able to dodge the brunt of the attack, but the initial hit of the punch was enough to shake him to his core. Damn, if I wasn't able to lightning jump at the last minute, this fight might have been finished. I've got to be wary of that punch. Just what the hell is this guy? He deflects my magic like they were nothing and then hits like a goddamn monster. Luxus thought. Luxus called for thunder again to heal himself, but again the lightning bolts changed direction and hit a tree that was near Natsu and Gray. The tree burst into flames as the bolts hit. Yeah, you're really the best, Naruto, Natsu exclaimed as he let the fire go into full bloom before greedily eating it. But Gray has a different look at the situation. An insurance. Naruto won't be able to keep this up for much longer. That is why he made an insurance that Natsu could fight. I'm not a very good sensor of magic like Master you are, but before that punch, Naruto's presence was so strong that I could describe him as a giant, but now, it was like it was cut by almost half. Gray thought, aren't we a little greedy, Luxus? Haven't you eaten enough? You might get a stomachache if you eat too much, not that I care anyway. Naruto said, if you didn't care, why not let me eat it then? Luxus came back. I don't care if you have a stomachache, but I'm not stupid enough to let you have another power-up. Naruto answered like it was the most obvious thing on Earthland. So now you're admitting that you did deflect my magic. Luke Seuss smirked. You honestly think that I will still deny something so obvious? Naruto deadpanned. I've had enough of you, Luke Seuss said as he transformed into lightning and snaked towards Naruto. When he was at his target destination, he transformed back to human with an electrified fist and was about to punch, but he was surprised to see himself in front of a wall. Before he could say anything, his body was slammed into the wall by a strong kick in the back. The wall broke down and buried Luke Seuss under it. Naruto stood in front of the rubble, taking the opportunity to recover his energy. Damn it, I really need to retrain myself using this magic. That punch took too much energy from me. Years ago, I could execute about a couple more of that attack, but now, it almost depleted half of my energy. I must finish this before I go dry, Naruto thought as he prepared to continue his attack on Luke Seuss. The rubble exploded as Luke Seuss emerged from it. Brat! Luke Seuss shouted. Interesting. So, when you do that lightning jump of yours, you change yourself into a magic entity that is lightning, then you couldn't change direction. So before using it, you will pick where you want to go, and then when it is executed, there is no way for you to control it. Am I right? Naruto stated. What? Luke Seuss exclaimed, surprised that Naruto had already figured out how his magic operates. Too bad, I could easily deflect projectile magic, especially when you don't have any control of it. Naruto taunted. Come on, take the bait. Deflecting his magic is also taxing my energy. The stronger the magic, the harder it is to deflect. His thoughts were cut off as Luke Seuss shouted in anger. Huh, like I will succumb to your taunts? I can feel it. Your magic energy has been depleted by almost half because of that punch you did earlier. Luke Seuss smirked. Yeah, it did, and yet I didn't have any problem deflecting your magic. Why is that? Naruto said. Luke Seuss smirked, was erased, and before he could retort, he had to use another lightning jump to dodge Naruto's somersault kick, but as he transformed back, his eyes widened as he was welcomed by the incoming kick. Luke Seuss blocked it with crossed arms. He skidded a little away. He stood up and smirked. It looks like your attacks are getting weaker, Luke Seuss said, and it looks like your magic is a lot easier to deflect now. Naruto retorted. The fight continued, or more like a brawl, as punches, kicks, and occasional lightning magic was thrown or deflected. Erza was looking at the sky when she saw something went flying up. What's that in the sky? She thought, which was heard by everyone as they were still in telepathy. Visca looked up, and with her sharp eyes, she immediately recognized who it was. Luke Seuss, Visca shouted. Luke Seuss, Mira said as she also looked up, and then she saw another one flying up heading straight to Luke Seuss. Arzak, who was also looking up, saw who it was, and a grin was instantly on his face. Naruto! It looks like he was the one who sent Luke Seuss up, Arzak said. I know that attack, Natsu said as he dumped Gray next to Erza. Since he was near Erza, he and Gray are now also inside the telepathy link. Natsu? Gray? Erza said in surprise. Naruto said that he would take care of Luke Seuss himself. Natsu answered. Well, that's a first. Natsu actually taking orders. Kana chimed in via telepathy, ready for a retort, but she didn't get any. One thing is for sure, Luke Seuss will be feeling hell after that combo hits. Natsu said seriously as they watched Naruto perform a lion combo on Luke Seuss. Naruto stood in front of the downed Luke Seuss. He didn't want to show or admit it, but he was practically exhausted. He practically wasted some energy fighting Big Slow, Fried, and Mira. He depleted his energy from deflecting Luke Seuss' magic, enhancing the strength of his attacks, and practically fighting Luke Seuss. Damn it. She better not see me like this, or I won't hear the end of it. I can't believe a fake dragon slayer could be this annoying. He is practically as strong, sturdy, and resilient as a real one. But then again, those things say more on the mage than their magic. Naruto thought as he hid his exhaustion, but the beads of sweat and the slight pan in his breath is a dead giveaway. What is the matter? Tired already? Pant. Luke Seuss said as he staggered to stand up. You're one to talk, Naruto said as he looked at the obviously hurt and exhausted Luke Seuss. But I can easily call for lightning, Luke Seuss answered. and I can easily deflect it. Naruto replied. I wonder how long you could call/deflect the lightning, Naruto and Luxus said at the same time. Luxus charged and threw a left hook to which Naruto dodged by stepping back at the last minute. Luxus couldn't stop his momentum, and as he was hunched forward, Naruto sidestepped and then delivered an elbow to Luxus' back. But instead of letting Luxus fall to the ground, Naruto drove his knee up, hitting Luxus' gut. Luxus, not one to be defeated, easily took hold of Naruto's knee and then with all his strength lifted Naruto and then dropped him backwards, letting Naruto hit the ground head first. But Naruto recovered just in time to kick him upwards since Luxus' back was arched backwards from dropping Naruto. Naruto had a momentary lapse as he took his bearings back and then followed by jumping upward, but as he reached Luxus, he was met by a strong punch towards his face, but he caught it just in time, and then he delivered a side kick toward Luxus' left rib. Luxus winced as he felt several ribs crack from the hit. Naruto used this temporary stun to twist Luxus' arm and put it on Luxus' back, then he held him and they started to spin while rapidly dropping to the ground. As they were about to hit the ground, Luxus gambled by twisting his body away from Naruto, making him grit his teeth as he felt his shoulder get dislocated. Naruto was surprised by Luxus' sacrifice of his arm. The momentary lapse was all Luxus needed for an opening, and he kicked Naruto as hard as he could that sent Naruto sailing towards a building near Erza. The wall crumbled against Naruto. Naruto stood up abruptly. He didn't want Luxus to have any chance to eat a lightning, but his eyes widened. He was too late. By the time Luxus hit him with a kick, he already caught a lightning, and that was all the time he needed to recharge some of his magic. Ha! Luxus laughed as he stood in front of Erza, Natsu, Gray, and Naruto. He was holding his shoulder. Obviously, the lightning wasn't enough to heal it. You lost, Naruto. I have eaten a lightning, Luxus said. Doesn't matter. It didn't fill even half of your magic. It wasn't even able to heal your shoulder. Naruto answered. Who said I needed shoulder or half of my magic just to win? I only needed enough for one more spell. A spell that would not only defeat you, but all of you losers. Luxus said. Stop it, Luxus. Everyone within the telepathy heard. Master Makarov? Naruto asked, confused. Warren can link everybody using telepathy if they are in range. Erza answered. I see. Naruto said. Naruto-sensei. Are you alright? Wendy asked. Wendy? Why are you in the battlefield? Naruto asked, worried. Don't worry. We are currently with Elfman, Mira, and Kana. She has already healed Juvia. Makarov answered. Enough chit-chat. Luxus shouted as the lights started to gather at the sky. No, Luxus. Don't use fairy law. You're going to hurt everyone. Erza said. Fairy law? So that's your trump card? Do it then. Let's see where that trump card could take you. Naruto taunted. Naruto and I don't taunt him. Juvia said. Ah, it's good to know you're all right. Don't worry. It's not like Luxus. Chan's magic could actually kill anyone. Naruto taunted. Let's just see smartass fairy law. Luxus exclaimed as the whole town of Magnolia was enveloped by light. Everyone except for Naruto and Makarov shielded their eyes from the blinding light while all the time, Luxus was smirking like a madman. When the light had died out, Luxus was huffing and puffing in exhaustion, but his smirk vanished when he saw no one was harmed. What? Luxus shouted. He looked forward and saw Naruto. Naruto wasn't smirking or taunting, but instead he had a warm smile. Thank you, Naruto said. Everybody was silent, not knowing what to say at this moment. I had read up about fairy law. It's a spell that punishes those who the caster deemed as enemy and protects those he deemed as friends. Even with all the things that you did and said, you really did consider everyone as family, even me and Juvia. And for that, thank you, Naruto said as he bowed in thanks. Everybody was speechless and silence reigned until Luxus shouted. What kind of nonsense are you saying? I'm going to crush every single one of you. Luxus shouted in anger. Naruto walked towards Natsu and patted his shoulder. Tap, finish it, Natsu, Naruto said with an eye smile he learned from Kakashi. But Natsu was cut off as Naruto said. You could do it. You were the one who fought him from the start, and I know you want to finish it. And since when did you pass up a good fight? All right, I'll beat you, Luxus. Natsu exclaimed. A making of a good leader indeed. Makarov thought though no one heard it since he blocked Warren's telepathy from hearing his thoughts. Ah, I could easily beat Natsu. I still have one shot of calling a lightning. Luxus thought as Natsu charged at him. He dodged and blocked Natsu's kick and punches with his good arm. When he found an opening, he kicked him away. At this moment, he focused all his remaining energy to call for the strongest lightning he could muster, but even before the lightning could reach halfway to its intended target, it was redirected away from Magnolia. I believe you forgot about me, Naruto said between huffs as he leaned against a wall. Crimson Lotus. Exploding flame blade. Natsu exclaimed as he attacked the exhausted Luxus. Then as a finisher, a torrent of spiral blade-shaped flames, each blade exploded and burned Luxus upon contact. Hell yeah, I did it! Luxus is beaten. Natsu celebrated as he looked at Naruto with a thumb up. Warren gave a sigh of relief as he closed his telepathy and rested. Yeah, Naruto said as he tried to give a thumb up, but his sight was blurred. Adam, I'm losing consciousness, Naruto said as he was falling forward. He was prepared to hit the floor when his face instead landed on something soft. Since when did the floor felt like pillows? Naruto mumbled as darkness took him. Unknown to him, his face just landed on a blushing Levi's bosoms. Everyone looked amused at the predicament Levi was in. After Natsu won against Luxus, Myra's group together with Makarov's group arrived where Erza, Naruto, and Gray were. Levi hurried towards Naruto when she saw him falling forward, but forgot that she wasn't at full strength and that Naruto was a little heavy for her. She caught Naruto, but they both fall to the floor with her back on the floor, and Naruto resting on top of her with his head on her chest. At that moment, Levi wanted to be eaten by the ground, but for some reason, she doesn't want to let Naruto go. Oh my, so forward, Mira teased with a blush. At least they could have waited to be alone or in a room. Kana said, I wonder if I could use the same tactic with Gray-sama? Juvia mumbled. Ah, a beautiful love, Erza said with a knowing smile. On the sidelines, Gray had a smirk, Natsu laughing at Naruto losing consciousness. Wendy blushing from seeing her teacher in that position, Makarov with a perverted face, and Polyushka, who looked like she didn't want to be there. A little help please, Levi pleaded. Oh, I thought you were enjoying it since you have yet to release him from your love hug. Kana teased. Levi's face became crimson red and steam got out of her face as she also journeyed to La La Land. I think you've gone overboard, Kana-san, Jivia said, and then they all laughed as they watched Naruto sleep peacefully with a comfortable smile and a passed-out crimson-faced Levi. All's well that ends well. Yep, life was good, Makarov said. Then he remembered the damage his mages had done, and then a cry of an old man was heard around Magnolia. End of chapter 11. And well, how was it? Was it bad? Was it good? Was it able to answer some of your questions? Ehe. Oh, and now, I will describe Naruto's powers. Arc of Force. It isn't gravity, so no, it isn't like Blue Notes. What he actually controls are the vectors. Well, I'm not sure if there is such thing as the word vector on Earthland, so I use force instead. Just as Valendal said, the Arc of Force is a magic that lets them control the direction and magnitude. Just like how Naruto changed the direction of Luxus magic. Of course, this consumes his energy, since he was essentially countering the initial vector of an object. In analogy, if you want to redirect an object with 100-pound force towards the opposite direction, you have to exert a little more than that. You could deflect it sideways using lesser energy, but still you will use energy. And of course, the growth of exertion is linear. The stronger it is, the more energy needed. Shockwave guillotine. It's like this: Naruto traps the forces going outside inside forces going inside. So it was like he is compressing it to the point of a needle, and he immediately releases it on one direction. Imagine a dam, pressurized water, being released in one direction. Well, I don't know if my explanation is good, but I hope it answers some questions. Laughing face. Oh, please read and review, so I could improve myself and know how my readers feel. I hope I could update soon, but work is really tough, but rest assured, I will update. Smiley face. Chapter 12. Hello everyone, this is the next installment of Force Maelstrom. First of all, I want to thank everyone for the reviews from my last chapter. It was really nice to know that there are many who appreciate your work. It gives you inspiration to write more. Next, I want to apologize if I am quite slow in updating. I'm doing my best to balance my life, work, and writing. Oh, and there has many asking me if there would be a harem. Well, I'm still thinking about it, but by reading this chapter, you will know who might be part of it if ever I do go for harem. I'm not very good at writing harem, though, so it is a slim chance, but you never know. I hope you like this chapter, and please leave a review. Good or bad, it's fine with me since it helps me a lot. Review Appreciation Corner. Jimbabob 5536, Lightning Blade 49, Dragfire, Paradise Regained, Eclipse X, Manaki Chung, Observer 01, Battle King, Mulkulk 86, Athena Dark Angel of Death, Zangles, Straden. Thank you very much for your reviews. I appreciated every single one of it. Hope you don't get tired of leaving a review. Laughing face. CB, if that is your opinion on my story, then I will respect it. Thank you for taking the time to review my story. Orcamus, thanks for reminding me. Sometimes, I am so engrossed to writing that I forget to check my grammar XD. Close. Laughing face. Sorry for the long wait. Just had a hard time balancing my life. You'll get your answers this chapter. Speed Demon. No, I'm not very familiar with Soul Eater. I actually based it on another anime. Smiley face. Agura of the Darkness. Nope. I don't intend to let Naruto just breeze to his missions. Though I don't think I would include missions that aren't important to my story. Will the guild let them live it down? You just have to read it. Wrong light. Yeah, his magic controls things with magnitude and direction. Whether it is magic or natural forces, but of course he spends energy doing it. The stronger it is, the more energy he had to spend. Vitarago 0. Thanks for the compliment. For someone to say that my story is one of the best is really overwhelming. Though, I'm sure that I have long ways to go, but I hope I'm getting there. Smiley face. Hades 252-2. Yep, it was Myra's takeover soul. In the manga, her soul extinction was able to take out Fried's dark rune magic. I'm not really sure what her magic does, but I presume that it has the power to seal XD. Yeah, I wanted in the chapter with a funny scene, since it was a very serious chapter. I was thinking of a name for the technique, and felt like it fits the technique. Age of Bizarre. Yeah, Naruto based it on Tsunade's attack, but instead of chakra, he uses his magic for it. Naruto could execute it for at least 2 more times in the past, is what he have said. Thanks for the review. Laughing face. Sean-san. Haha, thanks. Yeah, I'll probably do that though when is the question. Thanks for the review. Smiley face. Berserkian's Fury. Yeah, little by little we will see Naruto's past. Thanks for the review, D. Tragic Matt 1. Nope, he didn't. I added it as another indication of a difference between artificial and old-school dragon slayers. I'm not sure if artificial could really eat their own magic, but I added it in my story. Laughing face. Thanks for the review. Yami Erasure. Yep, you get a cookie for the right guess XD. Well, as of now, Naruto can't use ninjutsus. He can use the taijutsus and kenjutsus, but not jinjutsu and ninjutsu. Further in the story, well, I can't say since it will spoil my story, tongue sticking out. Thanks for the review. Christbarg 01. All will be answered as the story goes. Though some of it would be answered in this chapter, partially. Laughing face. Mira is such a nice gal. Dunno she has a crush though. Wink with tongue sticking out. Thanks for the review. Revan 228. Yeah, from now on, Naruto would be primarily using Force Arc as his magic, but he won't just use it on every chance. He still prefers fighting warrior style. Laughing face. Thanks for the review. Shinkei Kajuin. Haha, thanks for the review. I'm not much into perverted stories too, but reading them is nice once in a while. XD. I hope you stay hooked on my story. Smiley face. Junkie. Yep, Valandil had the same magic as Naruto. He taught Naruto everything he knew about magic. Thanks for the review. Laughing face. Serenium. Yeah, I probably need to review physics badly. Haven't opened a physics book in a while. About the name, Mystigan had also Mistgun, like how Gajeel also have Gazil and Juvia with Luvia. But yeah, I think Mystigan is better, so I'll use it from now on. Hee. Thanks for the review. Smiley face. KO's Heaven. Yes, it was sad that he couldn't give the KO punch, but I just feel that it's right to let Natsu finish, haha. Yes, romance will come in time soon. Thanks for the review. Smiley face. Laziness a choice. Thanks for the compliment. About the pairing, I'm still contemplating about it. Altair is also one of my fairy tale girls, but I'm not very good in harem. I'm a perv too, but I'm not sure my writing can do harem. But if I could, I probably would if it would be good for TH story. Thanks for the review. Laughing face. Few review appreciation is getting longer and longer, hee. That's a good thing. Tongue sticking out. Now onto the story, laughing face. Guides, talking thoughts, 0000 flashback 0000 slash change scene, disclaimer. I don't own Naruto or Fairy Tail and its characters. I only own this story because if I did, then Naruto might be in the story. Laughing face. Chapter 12. Promises, confessions, discoveries, and tears. Naruto walked amidst the darkness, not knowing where he was going, until he saw something at the distance. He ran towards it, and his face featured a broad smile. It's the guild Fairy Tail. He walked inside and then saw everyone in there laughing and chatting. He looked around, saw, and Juvia on the same table as Gray. Levy was on the bar chatting with Lucy and Mira. His gaze lingered at Levy for a longer time until he felt someone next to him and said, "Ah, a beautiful girl has captured my student's attention." Naruto didn't have to turn to know who it was. Interesting person. At first I thought she reminded me of me when I first saw her, but upon knowing her more, she actually reminded me of Hinata. Naruto answered, "Ah yes, the girl whom you were to ask for a date after the war." The figure said, "Yeah, like her, she had blue hair, only darker. She was also the shortest one on our age group. She was also very shy towards the others. Did you know, she even blushes heavily and faints regularly whenever I get too close to her." Naruto said with a chuckle. She also didn't have confidence in herself, but everyone knows that she is strong. Everyone had witnessed it, but she would only demonstrate it whenever her loved ones were in trouble. She was selfless, putting others before her. Normally, she would look like a delicate princess, but on times of need, she's one of the most formidable kunoichi. Just like Levy, Naruto explained with pride in his voice. Naruto, you shouldn't go for a girl just because she reminds you of her. I know, but I get drawn to her just like moth to the light. I thought it was nothing but curiosity, but as moments passed by, I felt like I was with Hinata again. Naruto answered, "If you like her because of who she is and not who she portrays." He said sternly, "You didn't have to say that. I don't intend to do that. If I do go for her, and if she did give me a chance, I'll love her because of who she is. It's nice to know that you aren't living in the past anymore. Master, forgive me. I have forgiven you a long time ago, didn't I? No, not about that night. Forgive me for living in the past and losing myself to Levantine. From now on, I will live in the present and look at the future together with them." Naruto said while looking at Fairy Tail. "That is nice to hear. Master, how come you could still communicate with me? As I have said, I left a small amount of my spirit to watch over you. But then how come I could only talk to you now? I wasn't supposed to be able to talk to you, and this may be the only time I would. I was awakened because Levantine almost got out. My spirit is now the one that keeps Levantine's prison intact. But I'm quite happy. After all, I could see what kind of family my student has now, and I am able to see what kind of girl my student likes. It looks like my time is up," Valandel said as he felt himself being drawn away from Naruto. "I will protect them with my life." "I know you will," Valandel said as everything went black. Naruto opened his eyes only to see himself on his room. "Naruto-sensei, you awake?" Wendy asked. Naruto looked towards the source of the voice and saw Wendy by the door. "Wendy, how long was I out?" he asked. "About 15 hours. Everybody is preparing for the Fantasia Festival. They postponed the Magnolia Festival until today. You could go and see it by noon." Wendy answered, "Sorry that you were dragged into our mess. It's all right. It's a good practice for my magic, and I'm glad to help Naruto-sensei's precious people." "Thanks. Where'd you slept?" Naruto asked. "On the guest room. They invited me to the girls' dorm, but I wanted to stay here, so they just helped me tidy and set up the guest room." Wendy answered meekly. Sorry, did I make you worry? Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, Naruto said as he gave her a smile to reassure her. Oh, you really have a nice and beautiful girlfriend. Wendy teased, to which Naruto's sweat dropped. Oh, great. Now you're turning my teasing teachings against me, but sorry, I don't believe I have a girlfriend. That's funny. I swear I heard you talking about her in your sleep. And it's the latest news on the guild. Wendy said innocently. Oh, great, I have a girlfriend, and I don't even remember who she is. Are you sure about that? 'Cause she had visited you twice, one last night, and the second just this morning. She asked innocently. Oh, what's her name then? Naruto asked calmly. I can't say who she is, because she said not tell you she visited. You just said that someone visited. Naruto deadpanned. But I never said who she is. Wendy answered. Oh great, I'm sure Char will kill me when she hears you, saying that I had just tainted the mind of the innocent and pure you, Naruto said while shaking his head. They laughed, and then Wendy asked, how come I didn't transform back when you blacked out? That is because that spell was dependent on your magic and not mine. When I casted it on you, it uses your magic to maintain it. But it didn't felt like I was being drained by it, and you're right, no one noticed. As I have said, it's an ancient magic and only a few knows of it. It's a lot higher level of transformation magic. Naruto explained. Will you teach that to me too? She asked. Of course, you are my student, aren't you? Though, I might not be able to teach you my main magic due to you already have a main magic yourself. I see, but your magic is quite amazing though. Yours is more amazing. I can't teach you my magic because I would be dishonoring Grandine. I understand. Wendy said, don't be down. I'll still teach you the other things I know. At this, Wendy grinned. You're really becoming evil. Don't you know that? Naruto said, thinking he had just been conned by his own student. Naruto stood up and said, well, time to go and roam around town until the Fantasia. Well, actually, I am part of the festival. Wendy said, really? Yeah. They asked me if I wanted to, and I agreed. This is the first time I could go into a festival, and to be part of it is like a dream. Wendy said dreamily. That's nice. Naruto said. They said that you could join if you want to. Wendy chimed. Nah, I'll pass. I think I'll just watch this time. Naruto answered as he didn't think he could face them just yet. Noon came, and the festival started. Everybody was giddy as they watched the fairy tale mages performed. On one side, Mystigun watches while leaning on the wall. He felt someone lean to the wall next to him. Hello, Naruto-san. Mystigun greeted without looking. Hello to you too, Jelao, but not exactly Jelao. Naruto answered. Mystigun didn't make a physical reaction, but Naruto could tell that he was on guard. Do not worry, I only knew of it because Natsu and Gray told me. I asked you to them because when I arrived at the fight, you were not there anymore, which surprised me because I saw you go to the cathedral earlier that day. Naruto ensured. Mystigun didn't answer, so he continued. What are you? Naruto asked. That got Mystigun to talk. I don't understand why you should ask me that. I'm a magic sensor, and I sense no magic from you. I only sense magic from your equipments. Even plants have more magic than you are. Naruto answered calmly. And that drive you to that conclusion? I don't know, maybe because you were the very first person I find in Earthland to have no magic at all? Very well, if you're not going to answer that, then tell me. Were you the one who placed Wendy under Kate's shelter? Wendy told me that the first human to be kind to her was named Jalal. She said that he carries strange staves with him and that he likes traveling around Earthland. You fit her description perfectly. So, I was right. The Wendy I knew was the Wendy who is with you. But what kind of illusion magic did you do to be able to hide it from a guild of mages? That is something for me to know. Why don't you go and talk to her? She is under your guidance now, so please take good care of her. That goes without saying, but you should go and see her once in a while. You know, she thought that you had gone rogue. She thought that you were Jalal Fernandez. I wish I could, but I don't care about your excuses. She looks up to you like a big brother or more. You should at least say hi to her once in a while. She misses you. Naruto cut him off. Mystigun contemplated and then exhaled after a moment. I guess you're right, but I can't do it now. Earthland is in danger. There is something big that is about to happen. Tell me what it is so I could help. I can't. What do you mean you can't? Many people are in danger. That includes Fairy Tail and Wendy. And all you could answer me is you can't. Naruto hissed as he clutched Mystigan's collar, but Mystigan didn't respond. He let go and then said, "You better be sure that no one gets hurt because of your secret, because guildmate or not, I'll have your head." Naruto stated seriously as he left Mystigan to think. Later that day, Luxus was about to exit the town of Magnolia when he saw someone outside of town leaning on one of the trees. "So, I heard that you're excommunicated." "Yes, I am, but you didn't waste your time just to mock me, didn't you? So out with it." The old man probably did that out of responsibility. I'm sure deep inside he wanted for you to stay. I know, but I couldn't blame him. I really did screw up. I'll only say this to you since I respect your strength, sorry. Luxus said solemnly. I'm still angry at you for what you did, but I know that this was a punishment worse than death for you since this guild was like your life and dream. I guess that would be more than enough to appease my anger. And as someone told me before, everyone deserves a second chance. Just stay out of trouble, and I'm sure one day he will let you back. So what's your plan? I'll travel. I'll train not only to be stronger, but also to be a better person, so one day I could make the old man proud. That's nice. I'm sure he would like that. Take good care of them. One day I'll come back and earn my place back to the guild. Don't worry, I would. You should take care of yourself too. One day when I have fully mastered my magic back and you have mastered yours, let's have a friendly match. That would be good. Now, why don't you tell me why you are really here? It's not about some sappy goodbyes, I suppose. Luxus, what do you know about your father's dark guild, Raventail? How did you know about that? I have my sources. My father made that guild after he was excommunicated by the old man. I don't know much, but I only know that they would do everything for power and money. Luxus, be careful about them. They want something you have, and it would cost you your life if they are able to get that. How did you know about? Luxus was cut off. You shouldn't speak of it in the open. As I said, I have my sources. Be careful, they are after that thing. Especially now that you don't have the protection of a guild, they will have more opportunities to take it. I'll keep that in mind, thank you. Oh, and about Rei Jinshu. Tell them to move on with the guild. Luxus said as he started walking away from town. They probably fear me or much more angry at me. They'll come through. Fried had too much guilt in himself for attacking the guild and your sister, so he probably feels like he deserved what he got. As for Evergreen, well, you didn't hurt her, so I'm sure she's okay. And Bixlow, he has weird fetishes. Luxus stopped talking. He didn't want to remember Bixlow's fetishes. He prepared for a lightning jump when Naruto said, Luxus, whatever happens, don't die. I'm sure one day Fairy Tail will welcome you back and probably need you. If it is necessary, seek protection. Just don't die. Luxus nodded his head as he transformed into lightning. Naruto looked at the lightning as it snaked away, and he grinned. A few seconds later, he swore he heard Luxus shout his name from a distance. Naruto chuckled at first until it became a full-blown laughter. After a few moments, he looked towards Magnolia's entrance and said, You guys are kind of late if you want to follow him. He could be anywhere now. Naruto said to the trio, who were standing in front of Magnolia entrance. No, we just wanted to see him off and say see you, but I guess we were also late for that. Fried answered. So you say. Naruto replied. What does that mean? Evergreen retorted. Nothing. It's just that there were 3 mages hiding under a rune even before Luxus came out of Magnolia. I thought they were you, but I guess I was wrong. Maybe it was from those who were hunting him. Naruto said nonchalantly. What does Raventail want from Luxus? Fried asked seriously. I believe I didn't say anything about Raventail. So I was right, didn't I? Naruto asked. Fine. Yes, we were the one eavesdropping, though I don't know how you figured that out. Evergreen said. I'm a magic sensor. I could easily detect magic signatures. I can't tell you why they are looking for Luxus because it's a secret to reveal, but don't worry, I'm sure he could take care of himself. And it's not like I won't help him if ever he needed. It looks like you two are okay. Naruto said, looking at Fried and Bixlow. I won't forget what you did, you demon. Fried said, though isn't as hostile as Naruto had expected. Yeah, you better watch your back. Bixlow added. Good. Let it be a constant reminder to you of what I could do. I can be worse than that if I need to just for them. Just like how I could become a demon for the 3 of you, because you are also part of Fairy Tail. You heard what Luxus said, move on with the guild. Just like you, I'm also trying my best to atone the sins I did in the past. Let's do it by protecting Fairy Tail, alright? Naruto said as he left the Jinshu in utter silence. The town of Magnolia was busy even if the festival was already finished and the sun was setting on the horizon. Naruto looked around as he walked back towards their guild. He saw the town people's happiness, and the scene put a smile on his face. I hope Konoha was able to have this kind of happiness after the war happened, and I hope Hinata was able to move on. He thought as he heard loud laughs. He looked towards the source and saw that he was already outside the guild's walls. He walked towards the entrance, only to see the outside empty. Must be celebrating inside. He mumbled as he reached the door and was about to open it when he suddenly hesitated. Why am I hesitating? He thought. He then remembered what happened on the festival. Many of them are probably scared of me because of me losing myself to Levantine. He shook those thoughts and steeled his nerves as he opened the door. The moment he opened the door, Wendy saw him as she was actually waiting for him. Naruto-sensei, she exclaimed. Everybody stopped their merry-making and looked towards him. Instantly, silence reigned, and at that moment Naruto just wanted to bolt out of the guild and run. Unlike when he was still a genin, he didn't like to be a center of attention now. He steeled his nerves and walked in. I'm sorry, is there something you need? He asked them calmly. Man, Elfman shouted. Naruto, fight me. Natsu exclaimed as suddenly both he and Elfman charged towards Naruto with reared fists. Naruto just smirked. Oh, he really loved this rowdy guild. Elfman and Natsu's fists stopped midway towards Naruto. What the hell? Elfman shouted. I told you, didn't I? Naruto has an invisible wall around him. Natsu said as he and Elfman tried hard to penetrate the invisible shield using their fists. My turn, Naruto said as the shield suddenly vanished and made Elfman and Natsu fell forward due to their momentum, but as they about to fall towards Naruto, they were suddenly pushed back by a strong, invisible force resulting in them being thrown away. I want to see if what they said is true. Fireball, Mikao said as he threw a fireball towards Naruto, but even before it could reach halfway, the fireball was already moving towards Natsu instead of Naruto. Natsu jumped like a dog and ate the fireball. That was a bad miss. Good thing Natsu loves fire. Naruto commented. Idiots, if Luke Su's magic couldn't touch him. How much could you? Gray said. Suddenly, they heard Makarov cry. Everyone looked at him perplexed until he said, Naruto, you fool. It's bad enough that Luke Seuss destroyed the cathedral, but you just had to use that attack, and now there's a big crater in the heart of the town. How am I supposed to explain that to the Magic Council? Makarov said as his cry became louder. Not mention that if that attack hits, Luke Susan would have been nothing but dust now. Idiot, big brother. What would happen if you had killed him? Juvia commented worriedly. Sorry, I got caught too much in the fight and I got a little overboard. Naruto apologized sheepishly, to which everybody laughed. Yep, he is a fairy tale mage, all right. Going overboard is something they do on a daily basis. Lucy said, Lucy, you're a fairy tale mage too, and you get overboard too. Cosplay queen. Happy snickered. Happy you want that fish to be your last supper? Lucy said menacingly. Happy said in fear. Naruto, you have to take responsibility of what you did to Levi. Kana said slyly. I did something? Naruto asked, confused. Oh, so you don't remember? Kana asked. That's quite cruel of you to do that and not remember. Mira said sadly. Please, let's not talk about it. Levi said in embarrassment. Why, Levi? Don't you want him to take responsibility of what he did? Naruto, you should take responsibility. Erza said. But he was almost unconscious that time, and he didn't know what was happening. Levi exclaimed, hoping to stop the teasing. My apologies, for I can't remember what I did, but please accept my apology. He said while bowing in apology. So you can't remember that perverted thing you did? Kana said with an evil glint in her eyes. Perverted Naruto and I. Jivia commented. At this point, Levi was reaching her limit and her face was crimson red. She will pass out any moment. Naruto looked at her, and he would have chuckled if only he wasn't in a predicament. Yep, just like Hinata, all right. It's not the time to think about that. What kind of perverted things I did to her? Why do I feel so much regret not knowing it? He thought as his head started to fill in decent thoughts, but he kept a straight face. Somewhere out there he knew Jiraiya, Kakashi, and Valendil were dancing in victory. Now my perverted teachers are rubbing off me. His thoughts were interrupted as he saw Jet got thrown away from him. You bastard, take down that shield and fight me like man, Jet exclaimed. Huh? What happened? Why are you on the floor? Naruto asked. There was silence until someone voiced out. Jet, epic fail. Naruto didn't even consciously block your attack. Happy deadpanned. Stop it already, Levi shouted before any fight started because of her. Everybody looked at her and got nervous from the attention. She looked down, trying to hide her crimson face. She put her hands together, intertwining her fingers, and then her thumbs started thumbing each other. He didn't do anything perverted. It was just that he lost consciousness at that time, and I tried to catch him, but instead both of us fell to the floor. That's all that happened, Levi said. Yeah, and Naruto's face landed on her chest while sleeping like a baby. It was hilarious, Natsu said while laughing. As I have said, he was unconscious, and it was all an accident, Levi said lowly. Oh my, do I hear disappointment in your voice? Visca asked innocently. My face landed on her. No wonder the floor felt like pillows. Now I really regret not remembering. No bad thoughts should eliminate bad thoughts. Naruto thought, trying his best not to blush. I think that's enough teasing for today. Naruto, I have something that I think belongs to you, Mira said as she threw something wrapped in a cloth. Naruto caught it with one hand and instantly knew what it is. He unwrapped it, and in his hand laid the sword Levantine and his other weapons. Everybody except Mira and Makarov paled when they saw it. Naruto together with those weapons was never a good thing. Naruto saw their faces and he felt mixed emotions. He wanted to laugh at their expression, but at the same time, he felt a pang of guilt for making them feel uneasy. He looked down at the weapons and he shook his head. He took the kunai holster and tied it on his right leg. He then placed the utility pouch on his left hip inside his Haori. But instead of tucking the sword on his sash, he looked at Makarov and then smiled. Old man, catch, he said as he threw the clothed sword towards Makarov. Makarov enlarged his hand and caught the sword. I don't need it. As I have said to Mira, I'll be relying on my own abilities. That sword is nothing but a dead weight, Naruto said. But didn't your master give you this sword? Makarov asked. No, he didn't, Naruto answered sadly. Makarov looked at Naruto for a moment and then smiled. I understand, but if ever you felt like you need it, just ask me. You don't need it. You're a whole lot stronger when you rely on your own abilities, Gray said with a grin. Not to mention that your magic is really cool. Someone shouted. Yeah, who needs a stupid cursed sword that eats your soul? Now come on and fight me, Natsu shouted as he charged towards Naruto with flaming fist, but Naruto just stepped aside. Natsu was about to attack again when he was floored by a punch in the head. What have I told you about fighting inside the guild? Erza stated menacingly. Natsu said obediently. Laughter exploded as everybody saw what Lucy dubbed as Happy Number 2. Naruto smiled at the scene, and then he remembered something. He bowed gratefully to them, though only Makarov, Mira, and Levi saw his gesture of thanks. Everyone was happy, except for two people who had a look of hate and envy towards Naruto. Did you have fun? Naruto asked Wendy as they were walking towards the exit of Magnolia. Yes, thank you for letting me tag along, Wendy answered cheerfully. I'm glad. Naruto was cut off as he felt a familiar magic presence behind the Magnolia walls. It looks like my supposed-to-be girlfriend is behind the wall. Can you? Naruto whispered to Wendy. I understand. I'll wait here, Wendy whispered back. Naruto nodded in thanks and then jumped up the wall. He landed silently on top of the wall and then looked down. It was a bad idea, though, as he landed directly above Levi, and as he looked down, his sinful sharp eyes got to peek on what is under Levi's loose tank top. He had to suppress his blush. I swear those three perverts are giggling right now, Naruto taught as he remembered his teachers. He suddenly had an idea. He gave a mischievous grin and transformed into Levi, then jumped down. He landed stealthily behind Levi, who was peeking at the gate to see if Naruto was coming. Okay, he'll be here any minute now, but what will I tell him? She mumbled. Why not start with a hello? Someone whispered next to her. Thinking that it was her conscience, she whispered. No, he's not the type that starts a conversation with a hello. Then why not tell him that you were waiting for him? The whisper replied, No, he might think that I like him. Levy answered, Do you not like him? It asked. I do know, I mean he can't know that, not just yet. She whispered back, Too bad. I think he already knew. It whispered back, No, he doesn't. How is he supposed to know? She answered, You just told him. The whisper said, When? I don't remember. She replied, Just now, look behind you. Naruto answered as he dispelled his transformation. She unwittingly did so, and her eyes widened as her face became crimson red at the face she saw inches apart from hers. Naruto smiled at her and whispered, Hello. That was the last thing she heard as she fainted. Naruto saw her faint from embarrassment and caught her in a hug. He held her with her face buried in his chest. He could have sworn she inhaled his scent and hugged back. He chuckled and said, Yep, just like Hinata. He scooped her up and carried her bridal style as he started to float up in the sky. Can't let anybody see me carrying you like this, he whispered as he literally floated towards Fairy Hills. He landed on Juvia's balcony and knocked by tapping his foot on the glass door. The door was opened by a half-asleep Juvia. She was wearing a white, almost see-through nightgown. She was hugging her Gray-sama stuffed toy with one hand, and her hair is in disarray. Oh, it's just you, Naruto, and I. Juvia said as she opened her door, not paying too much attention as she started to go back to her bed. Naruto shook his head at Juvia's carelessness. He placed Levi on the couch and then walked towards the sleeping Juvia, who didn't even bother to tuck herself under the bedsheet and was sleeping on a seductive pose. Naruto moved her to a more appropriate position and tucked her under the sheets. You're too careless, Juvia. You should be careful because many perverts would probably jump at you at the first chance they get. Honestly, you always make me worry because you're very important to me. Value yourself a little more? Okay, sis. Naruto said to the sleeping Juvia as he kissed her forehead. Naruto walked towards Juvia's nightstand and wrote a note for her, so she won't be surprised why Levi was in her bedroom. He walked towards a glass door and looked back. As long as I'm here, I'll protect both of you and Fairy Tail, he said as he goes out and closed the door and left. A smile graced Juvia's lips as Naruto left, and she said as she looked at the door, Thank you. Juvia will also protect you, Naruto and I. Naruto landed silently behind Wendy. He was about to surprise her when she turned towards him. Finished tucking Levi-san in bed, she asked innocently, I forgot that you have a keen sense of smell. You shouldn't snoop on other people's conversations, you know. Naruto said, to which Wendy pouted. I didn't, but I saw you floating up while carrying Levi-san. It's like that prince and princess story Master Robal used to read for me to sleep. Wendy answered dreamily. Well then, Princess Wendy, let's go and get you back to your castle before your knight Charles kills me, Naruto said while kneeling on one knee and extending a hand. Why thank you, Prince Naruto, but I have to disagree because Charles is like a mother more than a knight, Wendy answered as she accepted the hand, and they walked away from Magnolia. When they were a little away from Magnolia, Naruto said, Well, it looks like it's time to dispel the transformation. Oh, Wendy said a little sad. What's wrong? Naruto asked. Nothing. It's just that when I transformed into an adult, everybody doesn't treat me like a child anymore, and that they trust my abilities without a doubt, Wendy answered meekly. Naruto smiled at her and said, You know, there was a time that I too wanted to grow up fast so I could prove myself to everyone. I was so frustrated of everyone not giving me any attention that I desperately wanted to grow up quickly and prove them wrong. But as I look back now, it was a stupid wish. I don't think I would be the person I am now if I skipped some years of my life. What's important in life isn't getting older, but the experience that would shape you to be who you will be. The challenges, fun, victories, failures, joys, sorrows, everything. They will be the building blocks of your future because the journey is sometimes more important than the destination. Believe me, you wouldn't want to one day see people doing things you weren't able to do just because you were too bent on growing up too quickly. Cherish your journey through life? Okay, Naruto said with a serene smile as he placed a hand on top of Wendy's head and dispelled the magic. Now in front of him stood the 12-years-old Wendy. He kneeled on one foot, so he was directly eye level with Wendy, and said, I'm sure you'll be a whole lot better person if you take the journey towards adulthood rather than skip through it," he said with a cheerful smile. Naruto was surprised when he felt two arms encircled his neck and hugged him. He hugged her back. "Don't worry, I'll help you along the way," Naruto assured, to which Wendy nodded. At that moment, Naruto saw Charles flying towards them. "It looks like Charles was worried, so she fetched you instead," Naruto said as Charles landed in front of them. "What happened? Why is Wendy hugging you?" Charles asked angrily. "It's nothing. She just wanted to give a farewell hug," Naruto lied. "And how were you able to know that I am fetching her now?" Charles asked. "You forgot. She has keen sense of smell, and I am a magic sensor." Naruto lied smoothly. "Very well. I must take Wendy now." Master Rabal asked her to go back to the guild immediately. Charles said, "May I go with you?" Naruto asked. "I'm sorry, but you can't. Our guild is secretive and no outsiders are allowed, even you." Charles answered. "I see. I was hoping I could find a few answers to my questions since Master Rabal has lived for centuries." Naruto replied, "I'll ask Master if he could meet you next time." Wendy said, "Thank you." Naruto thanked. Naruto was surprised when he felt something soft and damp landed on his cheeks. He realized that Wendy just gave him a quick kiss on the cheek before running toward Charles and said, "See you later, Naruto-sensei." And with that, she was carried away by Charles. "Do you think it's okay for a student to be her teacher's second wife when she grows up?" Charles almost dropped Wendy upon hearing what she said. "Care to repeat what you said?" Charles asked murderously. Oh, Naruto would surely pay when she got a hold of him for tainting the innocent mind of Wendy. "Oh no, nothing. I was just thinking out loud," Wendy answered with a grin. Naruto looked at them as Charles flew away, but suddenly, Naruto felt a chill go down his spine. "Why do I feel like there is someone out for my head?" Naruto asked to Noon as the shutter stopped. He took out a small lacrima from his Haori and concentrated some magic into it. The lacrima glowed, and after a while, a raven-haired mage was projected. "So, what happened to Luxus? And what happened to your sword?" The mage asked. "Luxus was excommunicated. I left Levantine into the hands of Master Makarov. It is safer with him." "I see. It is quite unfortunate that Luxus was excommunicated. Now Raventail will have more chance of getting him. I guess some measures are needed to be done, but are you sure that sword is safe with that old coot?" The mage asked. "Don't insult Master Makarov," Naruto said seriously. Whoa. Aren't we a little defensive on our new guild?" The mage taunted. "You won't understand until you find a real guild of your own." Naruto retorted. "I don't need a guild. All I need is a good fight, and you promise that I will have one if I help you. And I like this kind of life better, much more thrilling." The mage answered arrogantly. "You know, it's kind of funny how different the four elements are." Naruto said, "Category is the only similar thing with them. If you don't have anything to say anymore, I'm going." The mage replied, "I'm going to meet her today." Naruto said, "Suit yourself, it's not my problem, but I'm not going to save your ass from that crazy bitch." The mage said as the projection faded. "Yup, only category is similar with them." Naruto said, "Darn it," a mage said furiously as he kicked a trash can. His friend was also fuming next to him. "Did you see how she looked at him? Did you see how they cheered for him? It was like he was part of the guild for such a long time. Did they forget what he did? He freaking destroyed the guild and hurt so many of us. And then he just comes to our guild like it was all nothing." The other mage exclaimed, "What the hell is wrong with them? What the hell is wrong with her? We have been with her for so long, and yet she never felt anything for us, and now here comes a total stranger who destroys our guild, hurts us, and before we know it, she fell for him? What kind of stupid joke is that?" The mage continued his rant. "I know I also want to kick his butt out of our guild, but you know that he is stronger than us. He'll defeat us without a problem." The other mage said. Unknown to them, they're being watched by a vulture. The vulture flew up and saw Makarov was leaving. "Mira, Erza, keep the guild out of trouble while I'm at the guildmaster's meeting," Makarov said. "What's the meeting about?" Mira asked. "Oración 6. That was the only answer Makarov gave as the two mages nodded and bid him farewell. The vulture flew back towards where the two furious mages were and saw them still ranting. Naruto's sword. That sword gives enormous powers. The mage said as he remembered the sword. But that sword eats the soul of the user. The other replied, no, I think that's just a myth. Okay, Naruto almost looked possessed, but that is because he is evil in the first place. You don't see it possessing Mira or Master. That means it is dependent on the user. We're not evil like him, so we are safe. The mage answered, I think you're right, but one problem still remains. The sword must have been kept on the guild storeroom. You know it is protected by a magic. Only Master can go through it. How are we supposed to pass that? The other asked, it's a good thing I found you too. Saves me the time of going back to the guild to find Mira. An old man said, Master Makarov. The two mages exclaimed surprised. Did I surprise you? Sorry, but could I ask you to give this magic seal to Mira? Tell her it's the access to the storeroom. Tell her to use it in case of emergency. Makarov said, but both mages just stared at him. I can trust you with this, can I? Listen, the storeroom contains things that are important to the guild. Please deliver it to Mira safely. Makarov requested. Of course, we will deliver it to Mira-san quickly and safely. Both the mages replied. Thank you. Now I can go to the guild master's meeting. Makarov said as he turned around and walked away. Have a safe trip, Master, and don't worry. The seal is in safe hands. One of the mages said. Oh yes, in safe hands indeed. Makarov said when he was out of their sight. As he walked out of town, he transformed into an older-looking man with a long beard. Master, why did you come here, Magnolia? Isn't it dangerous if Fairy Tail sees you? A feminine voice said as a blue bird landed in front of him and transformed into a raven-haired lady. It's you. Have you come here to fetch me? I was just sowing some seeds. The old man said, No, Master, I didn't come here to fetch you. I was just here for the festival. I was about to go when I saw you. I see. Yes, fun is good once in a while. I'll be going now. I have things I must do. The lady said as she transformed into a hawk. Looks like someone is on a rush. The old man said as he watched the hawk flew away. Levy woke up from her peaceful slumber. Her dreams were full of what she could say happy scenes with a certain blonde. She opened her eyes and stretched her arms. She was surprised to see that she was on a couch. Her eyes immediately scanned the room and panicked as it was not hers. It looks like you are awake, a familiar feminine voice said. She looked towards the source and saw Juvia getting out of the bathroom in her usual attire with her hair still damp from her recent bath. How did I end up here? She cut herself off as she remembered what had transpired that morning. Naruto and I brought you here. He doesn't know your room and doesn't want anyone to see him carrying you, so he dropped you here and just left Juvia a note. Juvia said, while waving the note Naruto left. I see. Levy answered. What happened? Why did you faint? Do you have illness or did he do anything bad to you? Tell Juvia and she will scold him. Juvia asked. She remembered again her conversation with her supposed-to-be conscience that morning who turned out to be Naruto. Did he do anything perverted to you? Juvia asked. No, nothing like that, Levy exclaimed in panic. He's really slow. Juvia said. What? Levy asked surprised. Oh, don't mind Juvia. So what did he do this time? Juvia replied. It was an... Levy trailed as she thought up of an excuse. Another accident? Honestly, everything that happens between you and Naruto and I has always been considered as accident that we shouldn't categorize it as accidents anymore. Why don't we just categorize both of you as fated? Juvia suggested. Fated. Levy stuttered. Yeah, fated because Juvia thinks that it was all meant to happen. Just like how it was fated for Juvia to find Gray-sama. Now, what fated things have unfolded today? Juvia asked. Well, wait a minute. How many accidents have happened between us? Levy asked, trying to redirect the conversation. From the very first day you met. Juvia was cut off by Levy. I don't want to talk about that day. Levy said, not wanting to remember the day Naruto destroyed the guild. No, that's not the first time you met. We've met before? Yes, though Naruto and I never said it to anyone, even to me. Luckily, he couldn't detect Juvia when she is spying on him. Juvia, why were you spying on him? Oh God, don't tell me. Levy was cut off by Juvia. No, Juvia doesn't like him that way. Naruto and I was always Juvia's partner, but he never said anything about himself. So, Juvia spied to get information. Juvia is not into incest. Oh. Levy answered in understanding and embarrassment as she just jumped into conclusions. Do not worry, Juvia will not be a rival in love. So, do not suspect Juvia. We are getting, of course, as Juvia had said. You've met even before that and you have caught his attention for a long time now. Do you not really remember the first time you met? I'm sorry, but I don't think I can remember. Levy said, thinking. Naruto treasures that day. Juvia said, to which Levy blushes both in embarrassment for forgetting how she first met Naruto and from the prospect of Naruto cherishing the day they first met. Juvia thinks that you were the first person who showed kindness without any hidden agendas for Naruto and II. What do you mean? He had a guild, Jose and you. Levy asked. Master Jose only showed kindness to us because he needed strong mages for his guild. Naruto and II was always been singled out by the guild because they are either scared or thinks he is a freak. Juvia couldn't show kindness because she herself isn't used to it until Juvia met Gray-sama. Juvia's relationship with him at that time was purely professional partners. But you showed him kindness without and hidden agendas even if you didn't know him. Do you really not remember? I still don't remember. But I didn't know about that. I thought that because he was strong and his dedication to his guild, he would be loved and respected. Levy answered sadly. Naruto and II was a mercenary before he entered Phantom Lords. He said that when the person who taught him everything died, he lost his will to live, so he lived to die. Each day, he would take the most dangerous mission for mercenaries. Because he was a mercenary, no one cared and trusted him. He was even looked with disgust because mercenaries are the ones who do the missions that the guilds doesn't want or can't do. Then, Naruto had, yes, he had killed before, but only criminals who even Magic Council deemed as very dangerous and had an execution order. Assassination mission from clients are prohibited, but the Magic Council themselves gives bounty for the heads of very dangerous criminals and mages. The guilds doesn't want to take this kind of work since they want their mages to value life and family. But the mercenaries have no one to stop them from taking on this bounties. It is actually their main source of income. The Magic Council granted Naruto and II the S-Class status because he had took down so many S-Class bounties. Master Jose once said that even though the normal mages doesn't know much about mercenaries, the guild masters are paying close attention to him because he may become a real threat to the people of Earthland. It doesn't help that he also carries Levantine. Now I understand him better. Thanks. It is of no problem, but I hope you remember how you and he first met. It would really make him happy to know that you didn't forget. Juvia and a few have been teasing you and Naruto and I, but Juvia wants to make sure. Do you really like him? Juvia asked. What? Levy asked in panic. Juvia asked if you really like him. You see, like how Naruto and II protects Juvia, she also wants to protect him too. That includes protecting him from being hurt emotionally. He is a person who wouldn't let anyone see his suffering. This facade made everybody think that he is almost invincible. If Juvia do not look after him, no one will. What if I say that I don't like him? Levy said lowly. If it really comes from your heart, then Juvia will honor that. She will tell everyone to stop the teasing, but please, do not show any more motives or actions that may trigger a misconception that you like him. That would be the only thing Juvia will ask. Do you not like him? Juvia asked with concern. Levy was silent. She didn't know what to say until she looked at Juvia and saw the concern on her face. Naruto is really very important to her. If I say no, I'll have to live with it or else I will lose a friend. Plus, Juvia and Naruto are my guild mates of family. Will I be able to live my whole life holding in how I feel? Levy thought, but then she suddenly remembered that Naruto have already heard her unwilling confession. She isn't dense with so many hints she got. She had this bugging feeling that he also liked her, but she didn't want to assume and make herself look stupid. But if I say yes, Juvia will surely help me get closer to him, and if he does like me too then. But what about Jet and Droy? She thought, is there a problem, Levy-san? You look distressed, like you want something but something is holding you back. Juvia apologizes if her question made you feel uncomfortable. You can answer the question later if you don't feel like answering now, but please don't hurt him. That's all Juvia asks. Juvia said sadly. The thing is, I do like him, but Levy couldn't continue her answer. Are you afraid of what would the others think, especially Jet and Droy? Jivia asked as Levy looked at her in surprise that she had read what is on her mind. Was she really that easy to read? It was easy to know what caused your distress. Jivia knows that Fairy Tail and Naruto and I didn't start on the right foot, especially with Shadow Gear, but he is giving his best and trying hard to be accepted. You saw what happened yesterday. Everyone was happy to see him and even teased both of you. They have already accepted him. Well, maybe except for Jet and Droy, but if they are really your friend, they would put your happiness first rather than their hate. Be selfish for once and give yourself a chance for happiness. Sometimes we have to take a leap of faith. Jivia saw that chance, and she took it, and you won't see her backing down until she gets her Gray-sama. You should too. Jivia finished with a smile. Levy looked at Juvia in amazement. When everyone first met Juvia, she was a weird girl that shows no emotions. Lucy once said that Rain definitely fits her, gloomy and unreadable. You can never know what was on her mind like a rain that you won't know how much water it would pour in. But the Juvia in front of her was a whole different person. She openly showed emotions and even admit her feelings. She isn't gloomy instead. She's a person who looks forward to find happiness. Just like how Naruto changed from that lost soul, she saw that fateful night to the person who blended quite nicely to Fairy Tail.